Plus, catch all the biggest games, every goal, every slam dunk. River Cree is also home to the Twin Rinks, where rec hockey and community teams come to play. Public skating available. Details at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Dennis here from Weiss Johnson, along with my brother Mark.
Hi there.
My bro is the go-to for all our tough installs.
I do all the hard work. He gets all the glory. Mister, I'm on the radio.
Hey, we can't all be famous, but seriously, Mark's the best, and he's here if you're looking to add a legal basement suite in your home.
We install tons of furnace systems for folks wanting basement suites. It helps to subsidize their mortgages.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Obviously.
Weiss Johnson, your legal suite heating system experts.
Visit weiss-johnson.com today.
40, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Have your sports curiosity cured.
The penalty shot by Drysdale, the bucket, saved by Skinner. Now Martell to the puck for the Flyers. Now to Drysdale. Now Zebra's fired. He scores. Trevor Zegras.
A veteran of the sports reporting game for over 25 years.
A bit by Marcus Foligno. Here's Heiskanen. Winding out, collected, settled by Robertson. Back again for Heiskanen. Wrist shot taken, fended off, they score! Out in front, Wyatt Johnston in the right place at the right time. He does it again, and Dallas wins game 3 in double overtime.
Breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, here we go for Saul 651, Tuesday, April the 23rd. She's a special team slaughter as the Ducks are right back in the series after beating the Oilers last night 6-4. She's all knotted up heading to Anaheim for game number 3 tomorrow. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440 on your AM radio dial on your morning drive into work on a Thursday. So glad you could spend some time with us or wherever you're heading out as the weekend's straight ahead. You can also watch us on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM. Drop us a like, a subscription. We would appreciate that. Also on X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. As always, we're streaming on the many services out there. iHeart, the TuneIn app, sports1440.ca. Plus, if you miss any part of any show, it turns into the many, many podcasts that are there on Apple, Spotify, Google, even Amazon. Just subscribe, select the auto download. It's free as well. You'll never miss a second of the show. Text line's going to be smoking hot this morning. 833-401-1440. Get them in. We'll get them on. Yes, the Ducks win at 6-4 last night in a game where, how many times have we said in the last, 3 years, 4 years, maybe more, where the Oilers' power play didn't help them, but not just didn't help them. It hurt them. It hurt them. And it's hurt them in this series so far. Oilers' power play has gone 0 for 6. And as mentioned, she's been a special teams slaughter. Anaheim, 3 for 5 on the power play and a big shorthanded goal last night, the 4th goal of the game. And you can clearly see the Oilers' frustration on the power play, especially on that 4th goal where it was extremely evident. That 4th goal by the Ducks is a total microcosm of the series right now for the Oilers. Horrible passing on the power play. No connectivity, no flow, not much doing. Some Oilers are saying they're getting some looks on that power play. I don't know, man. Totally out of sync. And then basically lax in your own end. Bad blind pass by Connor McDavid led to the shorthanded goal, and that made it 4-2 at that point. And, the Oilers got back in the game. I mean, they tied it up late on a great goal by Josh Szymanski. You know what? Beautiful, beautiful shot. Only Brad Winchester. That's 20 years ago. First time a goal scorer by a rookie in his playoff debut by Josh Szymanski. That got the Oilers back in it, but they could not maintain that momentum. There were several reasons why. We'll get to those momentarily. On the big news front, Connor McDavid. Nobody's seen him play like this, I don't think, for a matter of 2 games consecutively, never mind in the playoffs. So held off the score sheet. Then he gets his ankle rolled up on a little, just an innocent-looking play with his teammate, Matthias Ekholm. It looked quite bad, to be honest with you, right off the hop when he was pirouetting on the ice and moving around very gingerly. Went to the locker room, came back quite quickly, to be honest with you. But you know what? He didn't seem to be the same explosive Connor McDavid in and out of traffic. And that's what you saw in person for sure. He tried to gut through it, but right now, Connor McDavid he's fighting it. And the Ducks aren't making it easy for him either. They're converging on him. They're making quick, tiny little stick checks, just enough for the puck to bounce on him, to get him out of his rhythm. And that's one of the bigger things that the Ducks have done in this series. Right now, really, if you look at it, the Oilers only have one line going. That's it. They've only got the one line going, and that's Leon Draisaitl along with Vasily Podkolzin and Kasperi Kapanen. You know, everyone else is trying to find things and trying to search for it. Big losses last night with no Adam Henrique. Everyone knew that before. Some thought that maybe Jason Dickinson could get back in the game and gut things out, but So the penalty kill. I mean, the penalty kill has been a big, big factor here, just like the Oilers' power play. Again, Anaheim's 3 for 5 with the shorthanded goal. The Oilers 0 for 6. If you look at how the Oilers are starting the penalty kill here, for the most part, you know, after a face-off in their own end, which most of the time last night, it was Leon Draisaitl taking it, and Leon Draisaitl started the PK, so taking the draw. Then with Matt Savoy, Leon would win the draw, if that would have been the case, and many times it did. He immediately goes to the bench. Who comes out? Josh Szymanski. You're starting your PK unit with 2 rookies. Especially in Szymanski's case. And now, I mean, yes, Matt Savoy's played a ton on the power play, but it's a big, big loss to have a couple of penalty killers like Dickinson, like Adam Henrique, not in the lineup. On the subject of lines right now, the most impressive and the biggest line that's going right now in this series that is causing problems, but creating things, and has been a wonderful ace in the hole. Just an ace in the hole for Joel Quenneville is the Ducks' 4th line. And right now, the line of Washi, VL, and Moore are doing absolutely everything. They're checking well. They're creating stuff. They're taking massive draws. I mean, Washi last night took so many key draws and was outstanding. And the 4th line for the Anaheim Ducks right now, one of the main reasons that this series is tied 1-1. Also, Cutter Gauthier came to life last night with a couple of goals. Paling had 2 as well, one of them into the empty net. So right now, the Ducks are full marks for being being tied in this series after being down and drawing level last night. Full marks. They could just as easily be up 2-0 in this series. I mean, they had the Oilers 3-2 in game 1. They could easily be up 2-0. This is a dangerous team. And if the Oilers even take this team lightly or for granted one little bit, they're not coming out of the round 1. They got to get it in gear here and quick, because Anaheim is like Utah. They're dangerous. They're fast. If you take them for granted or are taking them lightly, you got another thing coming, because they could easily win this series if they play like this and the Oilers play at the level they are playing right now. Let's welcome in the Duke of Delburne, who was at the game last night. I guess everyone knows, obviously our listeners know that the Duke is a Ducks fan. Came in here smiling like a butcher's dog this morning. Did you not, Duke? I said,
it's a
Duke,
beautiful morning out there.
said,
I was expecting
yeah.
to wake up to some snow or rain or stuff like that. Why not just enjoy the sunrise coming up over the eastern horizon?
Cut the crap. Yeah. As Moneyball would say. You had, what did I say? You had the shiitake eating grin on your face when you walked in the studio this morning.
Yeah, it was another entertaining hockey game for sure. In the back and forth nature, we talked about this going into the series, and it's kind of, I'll be honest, Kevin, a little odd that in 2 games where there's been 7 and 10 goals scored respectively, the defense has actually kind of stood out to me. Okay. And from the Ducks' perspective, obviously the way they've hemmed in McDavid and made life difficult on him and held him off the score sheet through 2 contests. It's 2 games where you still give up 4 goals each time around, but the Ducks defending has really surprised me and impressed me. And then the Oilers, me and the buddy I went to the game with last night, we're on our way back to the truck and kind of trying to quantify what exactly happened from the Oilers side of things that left them coming up short yet again. And I kind of had a hard time putting my finger on it, where it does seem to be just like singular events compounded all together that result in 5 goals past your goaltender. And I didn't think Connor Ingram was exceptional last night. Like a lot of the goals from distance and some bad bounces to go along the way for sure, no doubt about it. But yeah, the between the special teams, the way the Ducks have defended that has completely turned their previous 82 games on its head. I'm quite staggered at what we've seen through 2 games in this series so far.
Yeah, a couple things. So now the Oilers are getting thin at center, obviously, with Dickinson and Henrique out. And then Leon's been back for 2 games. You got to think about that. Connor McDavid got banged up. There's no question about that. I said, Duke, and you'll remember this, about 3-4 games when Leon was out of the lineup, I said, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has to step it up here.
Invisible through 2 games.
Haven't seen him at all. And he had now he was centering the third line. They had to throw Colton Dock up on the third line left wing. He was taken out of the game with some penalties early because he barely had a shift, and Jack Roslovic on the other side. And then they flipped up. They moved the lines around. Roslovic and Szymanski along with Savoy played together just because of, they're trying to get something going. But Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, they need a lot more out of this guy moving forward. But that Ducks fourth line, as I said, really, really impressive. When Szymanski scored that 4th goal and the building was jumping again, and then some village idiot throws that rotisserie chicken on the ice.
Just insane.
I can't, that guy, I shouldn't say, whoever it was, obviously going to be banned for life. So you think you're a smart ass, you throw it on there, and that delayed how many minutes or whatever, and it took a little bit of momentum away from the Oilers. It's for sure, because the building was pumping and everything like that, and then something. So how stupid? How do you get it in first? There's that old commercial from 2 years ago when that fan was taping that fish in Nashville. Remember, under his jersey,
the catfish,
and he's going through security, blah blah blah. So you are technically going and buying a rotisserie chicken, bringing it into the building, and then throwing it on the ice. How stupid are you? And then just quickly off the, again, all the fans fighting in Rogers Place by the escalator. Come on, fans, get better than this. That is just that, and it's just it's a couple of bad apples that make the fan base here look stupid, and that's just not acceptable. And it's just, it's crazy. All those fans should never be let in the building again. It just stinks. Anyway, so this series tied at 1, going to Anaheim for games number 3 and 4 on Friday, and then on Sunday night, 8:00 start on Friday, 7:30 on Sunday. Also in the NHL last night, she was a late one in Minnesota. Dallas wins it in double overtime. Wyatt Johnston gets the game winner, the overtime winner again. So the Dallas Stars up 2-1 in that series. And man, oh man, this is just a Texas death match. They're going back and forth, back and forth. Speaking of nutso-ness, Philadelphia beats Pittsburgh 5-2. The Pens stink. But the way that game was officiated and handled, I mean, come on. They had, 5-6 guys in the penalty box all at once. It took them 20 minutes, 15 minutes, probably, I'm exaggerating, for the officials to figure it out. Everyone's wondering what the hell's going on. Then there's the Zegras, backwards kick on Rust. And, is there's going to be some supplementary discipline on that? We know how much the NHL hates that. So we'll see what happens there moving forward today. We got, as you can imagine, tons of texts, 833-401-1440. We'll get to them as the morning progresses. Got to go through them all because I think there's some venom going. Speaking of venom, I mean, maybe with Anaheim getting back in this series, the Oilers can spew a little venom. Get pissed off here. I mean, get going. Get at these guys. What did we say at the beginning of the series? Initiate the stuff. Don't let the opposition initiate on you. And that's what we saw last night a lot of the time as well. Coming up on the big program, we'll go around the league. I'll talk a little Oilers too with Ryan Payton from SiriusXM NHL Radio. Our double-barrel shotgun hockey insiders at 8 and 8:20, Mark Spector and Frank Saravalli. We've got Paul Sir from Hoop City as the Toronto Raptors try to get back in their series with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Game number 3 tonight in Toronto. The Cavs lead that series 2-0. In the NBA last night, OKC beat Phoenix 120-107 to lead that series 2-0. Detroit over Orlando 98-83. That series 1-1. We'll have a Cam and Eggs edition and AJ Jakubic from TSN 1200 in Ottawa. The Senators will try to get back in that series with the Carolina Hurricanes trailing 2-0. When we come back, Ryan Payton from SiriusXM NHL Radio on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell. And we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me. GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street or business online at NorthgateGM.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you?
Who, me?
No way, I swear. Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business, get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email, gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 7:20 in Edmonton. Just watching Canada up on Latvia 3-0 at the World Under-18 Championship. The Canadians lost to Slovakia 2-1 yesterday, so looking to get back on track today. Time now for the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. And at Fountain Tire, we take care, of your vehicle and your vehicle only. It's your focus is to enjoy spring driving worry-free. So let us take care of your vehicle. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com today as we welcome back Ryan Payton from SiriusXM NHL Radio. Good morning, Ryan. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it, big guy.
A pleasure. How are you? Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. Enjoying the Stanley Cup playoffs, Ryan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing like the first round, Kevin. Nothing like the first round.
There really isn't, Ryan.
No.
I mean, it's the best first round in all of sports by far. It's not even close. So
No.
Were you able to stick around, stay up for the late games last night for you?
Yeah, I did. I mean, we'll see how my delivery goes with you right now, but I was able to. That was, and not surprised we're going to get at least maybe one more of those games, or maybe in that series with Minnesota, Dallas, or another one. But whenever that goes into extra time, whether it's single overtime or double overtime, I always go back to the regular season, right? When it's 3-on-3 and how you have 5 minutes, then it's done, then you go to a shootout. And it just really makes me think, okay, do you want to do 5-on-5 in the regular season? I don't know if you do. Do you want to do 5-on-5 for 10 minutes? Maybe do something else. But there's something about just playing 5-on-5 for as long as it takes to get that winner. And these two teams going in for me were as close as any two going up against each other in the first round, and they've showed it so far. And that game was certainly part of that, with Dallas finally winning that game in double overtime. So yeah, it was exciting. It was long, but that's I remember years and years ago, I was in the studio doing a nighttime show, and there was one game that went Eastern time to it was just about 10-4 Eastern. And so I had to do a 4 to 5. And then I was in the next day at 9. I thought, I'm just going to stay. So I stayed at the office. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, I remember like 40 years ago, whatever it was, the Pat LaFontaine goal.
Yeah. Against Mason. Against Capitals. Yeah.
Well, because we were supposed to go to an Easter dance, and we're waiting. And by the time we got there, and I mean, we're talking, Saskatchewan time. So we were just, it was fine. It was like 11 o'clock or whatever, 10:30. But so anyways, those are some of the fun ones when they're overtime. Did you get some eyeballs on the Oilers game with Anaheim at all, Ryan?
Yeah, I did. And, two things stick out for me is that, Anaheim certainly could be up 2-0 in this series easily. And the special teams have been a disaster for Edmonton. When Anaheim's 2 for 3, and then they get a shorty as well last night, and Edmonton is 0 for right now in the series, 0 for 6. That's telling. It's really telling, and it doesn't matter how far this series goes or whatever it is. Anaheim's not going away. Anaheim is this. They have no pressure on them whatsoever. They're back in this thing. All the pressure's on Edmonton, and they've given up a couple of leads too in each of the games, right? So if they didn't give up that lead in game 1, it would have been 1-0. And they gave up a lead last night. They did come back and they found a way to get it done. But the pressure now solely is on Edmonton going to Anaheim now for game number 3. So yeah, it's just the special teams for me, Kevin, have been the biggest issue right now that I've seen for Edmonton.
Well, you're right, Ryan. Ryan Payton with a Sirius XM NHL radio. Oilers 0 for 6. The Ducks 3 for 5. Plus the shorthanded goal that we saw last night, which was, as I said, it's almost been like a microcosm of the series, how everything developed from everything in the offensive zone when you're trying to score to going back and being so lackadaisical. And, you know, it reminded me, to be honest with you, of the shorthanded goal that Philadelphia scored in game number 2.
Sure.
Against the Pittsburgh Penguins, when the Penguins are going, whatever, we're on the man advantage. We don't have to give it 100% here. Someone's going to cover someone. And that's what I saw there last night for sure. You know, when you look at Connor McDavid, this has been a time where we haven't seen him fight the puck like this. But what have you seen from Anaheim? Because they're really getting on him quick with some good sticks, some lively sticks there, Ryan.
Yeah, and that's the game plan. The game plan going in has to be that. And, you know, the Joe Quenneville is one of the best at what he does, and that is getting his team ready to go. And he certainly has done that with Anaheim. But you're not going to stop Connor McDavid, but you can slow him down and you can take him a bit off his game. That's the key. So don't go into this thing thinking we're going to keep 97 done and off completely. Just tug at him. Just be the aggressive team and be the aggressor. And when you're young and when you've got your legs and when you realize, I mean, look, let's face it, Edmonton is a team. Are they a good team? I don't know if they're a good team, but what makes them a good team is that they have 97 and 29 when healthy. But if you're able to somehow keep them off the score sheet or just take them a bit off their game, you are in a great spot to try to find a way to win. And again, to me, a lot of these games and series have to do with no pressure. And if you're the younger team like Anaheim is, they haven't been there in a bit, and you're not favored probably by a lot of people to come out of the series, you've got no pressure. So just play the game every shift at a time. So yeah, I mean, but McDavid's he'll be fine. So many players that he's played against do this, and they try to hold him off as much as they can. And at the end of the day, McDavid finds a way to get it done. But when you start get frustration creeping into your game, I don't care if you're the top player in the world, it's going to affect you at some point.
Well, I can tell you in the building last night, Ryan, when he got tangled up with Matthias Ekholm and you know, his ankle was sort of rolled on, you know, the whole building kind of took its collective breath there for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, if he's done, the team's done. Like that, let's face it, it's been this way for a long, long time. I know it's a group effort to get to the Cup final, which they've done the past 2 years, but this team will go as far as McDavid can take them. And if he's not healthy, even at least a bit, he'll try his best, but they're not going to go far if that's not the case.
Ryan Payton from Sirius XM NHL Radio, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. You know, the Ducks, do you think they're just like Utah here? As you said, they're playing with house money, loose.
Yeah.
Lose here, yeah.
There's a possibility with that, and I mean, Utah is a team that I'm pulling for. I just love the story, and it's kind of a neat thing too. Tomorrow, and I'm sure people know this, but if they don't, this is a neat nugget. April 24th, 2024. That was when there was about 12,500 fans inside the Delta Center. There was a big pep rally for the Utah Mammoth. And now 2 years to the date, they're going to host their first home playoff game, which is kind of cool. So again, when there's no pressure, I think that plays a huge factor into this thing. So Utah going into it as well with Vegas. Vegas is all the pressure going against and going with them. But yeah, I think it's a good comparable, certainly with Utah and Anaheim, when there's not much, when there's a lot to play for, but you know, it's okay if you miss a shift or something like that and you just get right back on and do the thing again. I think that plays to their advantage.
We had Scott Burnside on yesterday, Ryan, and when we were going around the league, he said that he had the most misread series for him when he was looking at the matchups was Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, because right now Pittsburgh obviously down 3-0. What did you make of that game? And then the officiating and all the crap and garbage, man, it was awful.
No, it was too much, and I'm with Scott with that. I didn't see this coming out right now being 3-0 for Philly. All the nonsense after and the officiating and just the mess of that can take away from the game. You try to avoid it. You try to turn the channel if you can, because you don't want to spend time looking at that stuff. But at the end of it all, the biggest thing that struck me in the series, in the 3 games, is the speed and the youth with Philly and how slow the Penguins look. And going into the series, I think the Flyers had 4, 5, 6 guys, whatever it was, under the age of 24, 25, something like that. And the Penguins don't. I mean, they're old. I understand that. And I know that they had a good season. They had a great bounce back year from a season ago. And damn, you certainly should be up for Coach of the Year. He's not going to get it, but he should be on the list because he's done a great job. But I've just seen Philly taking advantage of the gaps and the aggressive. The fourth line last night was ridiculous for the Flyers. And that's what's going to win you championships. You can get production from 1 and 2, but when you get production from 3 and 4, just the grittiness, like the fourth line guys for me don't get enough credit. Because if you go in the corner, you skate your you-know-what off. Like, look at Hathaway last night. He went in the corner. He got knocked down, but he was able to get the puck back. Puck came back to the point. Next thing you know, it's in the back of the net. The Penguins don't have that, and the Penguins are on their heels. So I didn't see this 3-0, to be honest with you. I don't know if many people did, and we all know the odds are stacked against the Penguins now because not many teams have come back from 3-0.
Mm-hmm. Ryan Payton with us on Sports 1440. Do you think that the Senators can get back in their series tonight with the Hurricanes here?
This to me is their game 7. This to me is a must win. It is. And Carolina has been playing their type of game to a T. Freddie Anderson's been great. I thought, again, I don't know if people would agree with this, but I hope that Brady Tkachuk doesn't drop the gloves on his first shift tonight. I really don't. I'm tired of that. Mm-hmm. I thought game 1, it didn't, like, okay, you've done it before. I understand. Yeah. And Stahl wanted nothing to do with you, but he's not going to say no because he's looking at you. You're looking at him. He's the captain. He's not going to say no, but you know what? Enough of that stuff. Like, you're trying to fire up your bench in the opposing arena. I don't know. But Carolina plays this tight checking, this quiet, kind of boring game, to be honest. But then they can find a way just to get a couple of shots in, and then you're in. So the only way that Ottawa's going to win this game tonight, and in the series for that matter, is if they just stay calm and if they try not to beat Carolina at their game, but really focus on their own game and force the issue against games. Plus, you're at home. You're at home tonight. So you need to take advantage of the home crowd. But this to me it's the biggest game. They have to win. I do not see them. I mean, obviously when they're down 3-0, if that happens, the odds are against them, as I mentioned, but I had Carolina coming out of this one, and Ottawa's had a good season. They have, but I just don't think they have what it takes to get out of this first round.
Yeah, there's something about it, but they've been right there.
They have been.
What's missing, do you think? Is it just a bounce break? Is it a power play goal? What do you think's missing here?
I think a lot of it does have to do with the bounce and the break. You have to, what was the saying? You got to be good to be lucky, lucky to be good. And I don't think that that's been going Ottawa's way. But at the end of the day as well, Kevin, I don't, Ottawa's not a good match for Carolina, or at least they just seem to me as a team that can go up against Carolina Hurricanes. And again, the Canes just need to play their own game, and they need to play a very quiet game. And they seem to wear Ottawa down. And when you're the opposition like Ottawa is, and you're the underdogs going in, if you are down a bit, you grip the stick a lot tighter, you try to do a lot more things. If they get a bounce or two, that's fine. Maybe that'll help them. They need to get an early lead. That's what I think they need to do. Keep the crowd in this thing. But at the end of it, again, I just don't think they have the horses to get past Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, you need a bounce, you need a break. You look at the Oilers game last night, and the 5th goal that Gauthier scored, It's a clearing attempt, a possibility by Bouchard, goes off the skate of Draisaitl and right to Gauthier. He's got the open net. And if you don't have those breaks, and hey, the Oilers have had some of these breaks too in this series, and every team gets them in every series. You need them, or else you're probably on the other side looking at an L instead of a W. Ryan Payton with us on the Kevin Karius Show from Sirius XM NHL Radio. Also tonight, the one other game in the NHL we'll see, 2 other games, pardon me, but the Sabres and Bruins is the one I wanted to go with. You're right on top of it there, being 2,000 miles away. What was the first 2 games like in Buffalo, and how do you see this series kind of changing with the change of venue going to Boston here?
Yeah, it's going to be nuts in Boston, and Boston could be up 2-0. They played a bad stretch of 8 minutes in game 1 where they gave up 4, and then that was it. I mean, it was nuts in Buffalo. The arena was ridiculous. First time in a long, long time that Buffalo has had a home playoff game. I had Buffalo coming out of this one, and I still do. But the way Boston's played in the first 2 games, again, minus that 8-minute stretch, they can play with Buffalo. I mean, they're going to give up shots. They're going to give up opportunities. They're going to give up chances. But that's not Boston's game. Boston's game is complete. Okay, if we do, we're going to come back and fight. We're going to wear you down. We're going to this, we're going to that. Jeremy Swayman needs to be Jeremy Swayman-like. And I don't know. I think the pressure now is solely on Buffalo. What you want to do when you're a visiting team and you go into a hostile environment like Buffalo, you want to come away with at least one win. And that's what they did. So now it's 1-1 going for game 3 at home in Boston. I really like what I see from Boston. And you know what, too? They've been there before. A lot of guys on that team have played. So the first 2 games for me in this series, something that's really struck me is being away from the postseason for so long. Everybody on the Buffalo Sabres being away just a little bit for Boston, but a lot of guys still know what it takes. It's different. It is a different mindset. It's a different beast. And Boston just seems to me to take everything in stride. And even when they gave up the 4 in the 8 minutes, okay, that's fine. We had the lead. We should have won. Let's regroup, have a sleep, and get into game 2. And I thought they looked great. So I wouldn't be surprised if they continued that tonight. I really wouldn't.
Do you think, though, that Buffalo might play a little looser because the buzz and everything at home?
Sure.
Now they're away from all that crap off the ice.
There's the extra pressure at home, and there's the extra pressure when you've got a rabid fan base who is starving for wins, right? So for sure. And to a man, they're all jacked up and the adrenaline, the testosterone, everything's going in game 1 and 2. Totally get it. So that's a great point. I absolutely do think that, again, so if the pressure is on them, certainly I think to win, but now you're in a different arena and you're not going to have everybody going completely nuts for you. So I think that the mental aspect of hockey and sports is so big, and in the playoffs, it's even taken to a different level. So I think I think Boston's going to certainly be aware of that tonight with Buffalo playing a bit looser.
Well, we started with the Oilers. Let's end with the Oilers. So do you think that can come into play and help the Oilers going into Anaheim, being on the road for 3 and 4 here?
I'd like to think so. I don't know. I think that Anaheim just seems to have it right now against Edmonton. If Edmonton comes out with a really clean game in game 3, if the power play even go at 50%, 2 of 4, even do 1 of 3, it doesn't matter. Just get something. And if they're just able to even to get a couple of bounces too, then they'll be fine. But it's different. I don't feel the same way as I do about Edmonton as I do about Buffalo going into Boston and Anaheim. I just think that's something about Edmonton this season. I don't have them getting through this first round. I know I'm not going to be liked very much with that.
No, you're not going to be. You're not going to be linked at all, Ryan. In fact, people aren't happy with you already.
No, I understand that. I'm sorry. I love Edmonton. I do. To me, there was just there's something different about the team, and with Anaheim again, they have a lot of work to do. It's far from done, and I could be completely wrong. And if I am, absolutely, that's fine. But there's just something to me different about Edmonton this season than the last couple. And Anaheim is again young, no pressure, take it period by period, and now they're going home for 3 and 4. And again, don't forget too, Anaheim had leads in game 1, then they gave them up. So they've been leading. They could be up 2-0 as well. So don't forget that. And if they were up 2-0 right now, then everybody would be completely incensed as to what's going on with Edmonton.
It's funny you say that though, Ryan. But like if you think about it, this Oilers team going into this year, into the playoffs, was deeper on lines 3 and 4, which everyone said was the problem before, and was probably deeper in the top 4 defensemen, like in the top 4, probably deeper going into this year than years prior. So I'm kind of intrigued that you would think that it's the other way around.
Yeah, I don't have a specific reason, numbers wise, statistics wise, or anything. It's just a feel. It's just a feel, kind of from what I see. And again, I can't look at anything and think, oh, I'm an expert in this and expert in that. But it's just something different, I think, about the team. I really do. It's not saying that they're worse than they were last year and the season before that. They are deeper. You're right. You're bang on with that. Just something kind of different about them, and especially up against a team like Anaheim with a kind of a, hey, if we win, great. If we lose, well, fine. We're moving in the right direction. So, and the pressure and the whole pressure thing too. Game 3 is key. Game 3 in any series is huge. It doesn't matter if you're up 2-0. Doesn't matter if it's 1-1. Game 3, probably in most 7-game series, well, early on in 7, is the biggest game of the series.
For sure it is. Yeah. Ryan, thanks for leading things off this morning. Have a great show this afternoon on Sirius. We'll probably talk to you as the playoffs progress. Thanks as always for coming on.
Okay, you're welcome. I love Edmonton, by the way. I do. I promise.
I can tell you right now, Edmonton's not loving you.
I know. I'm sorry.
Okay,
thanks, Kevin.
It's Ryan Payton from Sirius XM NHL Radio. The Puck Report brought to you by Fountain Tire. We focus on one thing, and it is your vehicle. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com. Text rolling in 833-401-1440. Noel Rinsky says, yeah, this Ryan guy's way off. The Oilers have scored 8 5v5 goals in 2 games. The Oilers are a good team. They've simply lost the special teams battle, period, which they have. And I mean, we talked about it all off the top of the show. Oilers are 0 for 6 on the power play. Anaheim's 3 for 5 with the one shorthanded goal. I think just quickly in my head, the Oilers have outscored Anaheim, 8-4 in 5v5 goals. The Ducks would have the 3 power play goals, the 1 shorthanded goal, and then the 1 empty netter. So, I mean, if you were to say right now that the Oilers after 2 games would have outscored the Ducks 8-4 in 5v5 goals, you would have said, well, the series is 2-0 Edmonton easy. That's what you would have said. But that's not the case. To your point, though, Noel, on the 5v5 goals and being the Oilers up 8-4, I don't see the ice tilted like that in the Oilers' favor. Like if you were to say the Oilers have 8 goals at 5v5, the Ducks have 4 at 5v5, you would think that the Oilers are way better than the Ducks in this series playing even strength. I don't see that. I think the Ducks have been every bit as good as the Oilers 5v5. The Oilers have found a way to put the puck in the net, obviously. But when you look and break down shifts and see how the play's developed and, where the play is, if it is in the Oilers zone, if it is in the Duck zone, I don't see that big of a discrepancy. So, Duke, take your Duck rose-colored glasses off.
I always do.
Am I crazy to say that? Like if it?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not. And I think that has to be taken into perspective here from maybe the Oilers fans that are watching this game. Like the frustration,
yes,
it's warranted, right? Because of how passive the Oilers have looked at times, and especially on the special teams front. Like, yes, they are losing the special teams battle, which is a extra level head scratcher because coming in, it was a huge mismatch in the Oilers' favor. At both fronts, right? Like the Oilers' penalty kill is nothing special, but the Ducks' power play, it was terrible most of the season. And then the Oilers, obviously, the number 1 power play against a very middle of the road, bottom half of the league Ducks PK. So that does matter here.
27th coming in, Duke.
Right.
27th.
But at the 5-on-5 thing, it has been quite even. Like each team over 2 games has had stretches, shifts where they've controlled the pace, controlled the zone time, had teams hemmed in, but it has rarely lasted more than maybe a few shifts consecutive before we get back to some, neutral zone play. Maybe the other team will take a turn putting a press on. It's been quite even at 5-on-5 from my eyes.
My point is, if you were to say the Oilers have outscored the Ducks 8-4, 5v5, you'd say, well, they've dominated.
With no other information provided, and that was all you were given, you would have to think the Oilers would be running away with the series through 2 games. Forget being up 2-0. You'd think they were running them out of the building because you just naturally assume that the Oilers' power play has probably cashed in at least 3 or 4 chances over the course of 2 games as well. And that just hasn't been the case. The power play has been a non-factor. It's been a negative. Like you said, shorthanded goal against.
If you take the power play and special teams out of it and just look at 8 goals for the Oilers, 4 goals for the Ducks, you would think that the Oilers have run the Ducks show 5-on-5. And I don't think that's been the case.
No, it hasn't.
So when we come back, we'll get to some of your texts. I think we should hear from Connor McDavid because he was asked about his ankle right off the hop in the media availability yesterday. So we'll hear from the Oilers captain when we come back. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. I've got some good news. If you've been thinking about a heavy-duty truck, the 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express is now at St. Albert Dodge. You've got 20-inch black aluminum wheels, black Mopar side steps, body color, bumpers and grille, and a sport performance hood. Available in all the colors for $68,990. Plus, new this year, Ram's best-in-class 10-year powertrain warranty. Now's the time. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors, Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top-quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
It's playoff time on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. This is Andrew Walker. Join us for the Titan Supply pregame show before each Edmonton playoff game. Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think, "Wow, great hair transplant." I want them to think,
"Wow, great hair."
Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
They're pumped for the playoffs at Selly Sports Bar and Lounge, the place to catch every hit, every goal, every Selly. Not a bad seat in the house, tons of big screens, and a menu with something for everyone from small bites to big bites. Plus, game night food and drink features and Oilers playoff watch parties. Selly Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
Kevin Karius Show, breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams, even though his favorite Junior A hockey team is the Yorkton Terriers. Thanks for checking in with Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 746 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, and Josh Fenwick with you here on a Thursday morning. So glad you could spend some time with us here on Sports 1440 AM radio. As you can imagine, tons of texts sliding in. We'll get to some of them momentarily, but first I think we should hear from the captain, Connor McDavid. Again, pointless in 2 games, had his ankle rolled on in the second period when he was just tied up with defenseman Matthias Ekholm. He immediately he was sort of pirouetting, grabbed his ankle, went off, went down the tunnel, came back quite quickly, but didn't look to be the same. But he was asked about it immediately when the scrum ensued following the loss.
We'll take a see that play with Matthias, and how concerned were you right away?
Yeah, just rolled up on a little bit. It's fine.
Safe to say, Connor, that special teams again was a difference here tonight in this week.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, special teams was good.
So you talked about last game wanting to maybe tighten things up a little bit on the power play. What do you think happened tonight?
I still thought we got looks. I still thought, we had chances. Obviously, we got to find a way to score. We can't give up a shorty either. Yeah, it'll come.
On the power play, and even 5-on-5, they're knocking down a lot of pucks, or is that them, or is that you guys not executing on the pass?
A little bit of both. They're obviously checking hard, and they got good sticks. They're good players. And we haven't been as crisp as we'd like, obviously.
I'm assuming you like your 5-on-5 play. You really dominated. If you look at the score sheet, 5-on-5, you got to get your special teams better. But what is it about 5-on-5 that you've liked from the team?
Yeah, I thought we've done lots of good things. As I said, again, when our game gets a little bit slow, that's where we start to lose it a little bit. I think you saw that early in the second period, but sped it up as we went. And when we play fast, we're tough to handle.
You guys talked a lot about trying to lower the hockey against this Anaheim team, and you haven't been able to succeed. Do we blame you? Do we credit them? What do you think is making that happen?
Well, maybe a little bit of both. Obviously, they've kind of switched. They've switched their style a little bit, kind of sitting back a little bit, sitting in their 1-1-2 and making it tough. We got to got to be stubborn with it and keep putting it in and forecheck them and make them come the full way.
You guys have gone a few games without a power play goal, but obviously it's the playoffs, everything gets magnified.
Mhm.
Is it just simply you think you get one, it goes, or is there something that you need to see more of when you know the power play's not going to get it back?
Well, I mean, I think it's, people forget we're Leon's just back, Heisey's just back. We're as good as the power play is, it's still a work in progress. We haven't ran our normal routes and had our normal looks for some time. It's not just a light switch, so we're working at it obviously, and we'll be a part of the series. We will be.
On their shorthanded goal, was it just getting crossed up in the D zone there? Or?
Yeah, just a little bit of a miscommunication. I thought, just a miscommunication. Then obviously, can't allow that pass back.
You guys have been in worse situations than this. Is that what you kind of rely on?
We've been in this situation a lot. 1-1 going on the road. We're comfortable on the road. We like playing on the road. Obviously, we'd like a better outcome tonight and a better product tonight, but we're comfortable going on the road.
Is the outcome maybe less concerning than the product, that you're kind of getting impatient for the product to get to where you want?
Yeah, obviously, it's the playoffs and we got to start going.
That's Connor McDavid following the 6-4 loss last night, even the series at a game apiece. Text 833-401-1440. Let's get to a couple of them before the break. Big Daddy says, good morning. When did it get so difficult to put pucks on sticks in your own end? The passing the Oilers have had has been bad. Yes. He continues on. Sure, I get you're getting pressure, but oh my goodness, I've never seen so many skilled players force low percentage passes. You're right. I mean, the passing last night and really for the first two games, it's almost like everything's off an inch. It's just maybe on the heel or it's on the toe or something, or it just caroms off a little bit, or it's a split second too early or a split second too late. The Oilers aren't in sync right now. The connectivity isn't there. Oh, Duke, your buddy Hot Salsa says the Duke is smiling like a horse eating thistle. So I never understood that. Like,
well, if a horse bites and maybe it pulls back so its teeth or its lips retreat, it's grimacing almost.
But he's smiling. He should be.
Yeah, but it's
not happy.
They don't look like it looks like they're smiling, but they're not. Right? So it looks. Like
I
all
thought
the teeth are showing.
Mine was better than Butcher's Dog.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
That's an old Mike Lang line.
Okay,
Pittsburgh. BC Oilers says, I think until the series is over, we should call him the puke of Delburne. What do you think of that, dude? Boy, people are on the Duke for being a Ducks fan. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I can take it. That's fine.
833-401-1440. Iron says, I agree with Ryan Payton. He's felt that the Oilers have been missing something this year as well, all season. But again, this series is 1-1. If you thought it was going to be easy, man, I don't know. Again, Anaheim's got nothing to lose here. This is a team getting to the playoffs for the first time in a long time. All young players. They're just like Utah right now. They're playing with house money. Ron, Mexico, our power play currently at -1 for the playoffs. Yes, 100%. They need special teams to be a difference in this series. They've always needed it to be a difference in any series in the last couple of years. Gus in the Hood says, everyone needs to calm down. The series is tied 1-1. Lots left. Everyone just needs to take a break. Jay in Victoria, Mr. Payton made some good points. A lot of people keep saying they'll be fine. That being said, they're right. He's right. The pressure is on, and there is a little bit of pressure now because you've lost a game in your own building. I don't know about. I just punched up Colby's. I never really thought about this. Anyone think that Trouba talks like Elvis in his interviews? LOL. I've never really thought about that. But Rowdy Roddy says, good morning, boys. My buddies say ex-coaches don't have an impact on their previous players. I said, watch out for Woody and Gully. McDavid, 0 points in 2 games. I don't know if Woody's having every team has game film on everything. When Woody was here, that's several years ago. I just don't see it having a big impact because he has access to what the Oilers have. Like Woody has the same access as every coach in the league. All 31 of them on a day-to-day basis. Iron says, Bush has played better D. I thought Bush was really good last night defensively.
Kevin, words right out of my mouth when I was saying it to my buddy during the game. I was like, with the puck on his stick, I think there's still a lot to be desired with Bouchard's play through 2 games, and last night that remained the case. And you look at the winning goal, it is a bit of a bad break but it's also just like a blind panic type clear in front of your own net, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't go off Draisaitl's skate, it's probably landing on Lacombe's stick back at the point again. So that's fine. But defensively, I thought he made a lot of really good defensive plays last night with his stick, with his body. He was physical. I had a lot of time for Bouchard's game last night. He still made some mistakes, no doubt about it. But compared to game 1, I thought it was for sure an improvement.
But that clearing attempt that goes off Leon's skate, I mean, you got to get it the hell out of there. There's guys everywhere.
To me, it's a panic type clear. It's a fire drill play off a point shot that should be not harmless. Of course, it's the NHL, but it's just a little bit too panicked for me in that moment that you blindly try and backhand it. You put it right off your own player's leg, and even if it doesn't hit Leon, like it's not getting. At least you
get a chance to reset, Duke. I mean, the goaltender's out of position because
for sure,
not like it ping ponged off another player, and you just got to get it the hell out of the danger zone.
And people will say that like that's a bad bounce, and there's elements of that, but sometimes teams generate bad bounces with their play and putting teams in those spots, right? And I think that is an example of one of those situations.
Coming up at the top of the hour, Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. We'll also have Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV at 8:20. Before that time now for Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers lose last night 6-4 at the hands of the Ducks. Cutter Gauthier, 2 goals, 1 assist. Alex Killorn, 3 points as well. And Lucas Dostal stopping 33 shots en route to victory for Anaheim. That series now tied at 1. Around the rest of the NHL last night, Dallas wins a thriller, double overtime. Wyatt Johnson with the game winner. They take it over the Wild 4-3 to open up a 2-1 series lead. And in the early game, the Flyers continue to roll. They beat Pittsburgh 5-2. They now take a 3-0 series lead back into their home rink for game number 4. PWHL action last night. Seattle taught Minnesota 5-4, and Ottawa get past Boston 2-1 in overtime. BCHL playoffs. Sherwood Park Crusaders even their series against Brooks with a 5-4 overtime win from the Park last night. That series will shift back to Brooks for we'll hold on. Double IHF U18 action from Latvia this morning. Canada currently leading Latvia in Slovakia 3-0. And in the association last night, Detroit evens their first round series with Orlando at 98-83. And the Thunder, 37 points from SGA. They beat the Suns 120-107. Majors yesterday, Blue Jays lose their finale in Anaheim against the Angels, 7-3 the final. And the Mets, they snap their 12-game skid with a 3-2 win over Minnesota. Coming up in hour 2 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector and Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value for a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
Sleep is for the off-season.
What off-season?
Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7.
Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings.
We've got your fix. Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440.
Professional golf is coming to Blackhawk Golf Club this fall. The ATB Classic, presented by Building Trades of Alberta, brings the stars of PGA Tour Americas to you. Enjoy the ATB Fan Zone, presented by Michelob Ultra, where golf meets festival vibes. Upgrade to VIP-covered terrace seating with premium food and beverage options. September 17th to 20th. Tickets start at just $25, and the first 250 buyers receive a PGA Tour Americas commemorative gift. Get yours at atbclassic.com.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8 o'clock in Edmonton, hour number 2 of the Kevin Karius Show. So glad you're with us here on a Thursday morning. Time now for On the Mark. Brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Spring is coming. Well, we think it is because, man, the next 3-4 days stink. But before you do anything, stop in and see the folks at Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC and see the brand new Autoplex. It's a massive indoor sales room only at NorthgateGM.com as we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Good morning, Spec.
Hey, there you are. How's it going?
Well, where else would I be?
Sorry, my camera went out for a second, but it could be because I pushed the turn off camera button. That could be the reason. I didn't sign up for these cameras. Whatever happened to phoning a guy for a radio hit? Where'd those days go? Now everything's on camera.
They're long gone is what they are, Spec.
Man, oh man, no kidding. Like anyone wants to see our faces in the morning.
Well, yeah, I felt that for like 2.5 years, man. I'm glad we just went to video here in the last, 6-8 months or whatever it's been.
Well, how's the listeners taking that effort last night?
Exploding on the text line, as you can imagine, for sure. Everyone has their opinion, and that's the way it is. Hey, is this as simple right now? This series, is it as simple as what's going on with special teams here? Is it that simple right now?
No, I don't think it's that simple. But I'd say to you that if the Oilers' special teams were any good, they'd be up to nothing in the series. There's no such thing as a game where the other team gets 3 special team goals, you get none, and you still win like that. They scored 4 even strength goals and lost a game. Why? Because their special teams couldn't keep up to Anaheim's special teams. That's certainly a simple way to look at it, but I think that lets a lot of other stuff off the hook here, Kev.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Spec. Like, even if you were to say right now, the Oilers have 8 goals, 5 versus 5, and the Ducks have 4 goals, you'd go, well, the Oilers are in control of this series. But even looking at that stat, to me, the Oilers aren't 8-4 better in that category. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Edmonton hasn't listened. Like, I guess Anaheim's looking at their game and probably liking it quite a bit, because we said before this series that Edmonton wanted to play lower event hockey. They wanted to, split up less chances, not play run and gun hockey, all that stuff. And it's been 2 games of run and gun hockey. It's been 6-4, 4-3, lots of goals, lots of chances. The game's been played to a large extent at the way Anaheim wants it played. So that in itself gets you 60% of the way to victory, right? When you play the Kings if you end up playing a dump and chase, boring, lousy game, that's good. What LA wants. If you end up when the Oilers broke it open and they played hockey, that's what Edmonton wanted. So that's where it starts for me. Is Edmonton hasn't come close to getting to their game. Whatever happened to this defensive playoff, structure and posture that we expect to see at this time of year? They haven't come close to playing good defensive hockey. I mean, in a lot of ways, they're lucky it's 1-1 because
I agree.
They could easily be down 2-0 in the series, no question.
So, what is it about this team? We've seen it before. They sort of wade in to a series, especially the first round. What is it about that, you think?
They always have. And that's why they don't value home ice advantage. You're better off to be coming home right now 1-1 than going out on the road 1-1. Right? Kind of 1-1 at home is a loss. 1-1 on the road's a win. So that's why they don't, we've been talking about this for a month here. No one in that dressing room came out and said down the stretch, oh my God, we got to win first place in the division. And it's really great to be. They don't care about home ice because of this. This is the reason why home ice doesn't mean much to them. And I don't disagree one bit.
Mark Spector with us on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. So Connor McDavid, pointless. He's fighting it. We haven't seen it to an extent that lasts this long. Everyone thought after game one, all right, he's going to find his way. And then what happened with the ankle roll, the whole bit? I mean, what are you seeing here, Spec?
Well, I'm not seeing an injured player. I watched him, as we all did, very closely when he came back, and he was flying still. So to me, who knows how he feels this morning? Right. I'll bet you he wakes up and thinks, okay, how am I doing here, and takes stock. But in the game last night, he certainly his speed and agility did not look to be altered in any way. So that's really.
I'll be honest, Spec. I thought his explosiveness wasn't as much after the ankle roll, and I thought he didn't wade into traffic as much.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Listen. It's crazy to watch Connor McDavid struggle the way he did last night. That's as bad a playoff game as he's ever played, in my opinion. And this is me looking at the best player in the world. And I've been so lucky to be in the building for almost every one of his every playoff game he's played. So it's just crazy it's odd. It's your eyes. It's hard to compute when 97 has the puck and the play's dying on a stick in the offensive zone. Like you just shake your head and rub your eyes and go, did I just see that for the fifth time here?
Yeah.
That's what I wrote today. It's oddest. This isn't, I'm not criticizing him. He gets to have a bad game. He almost never has them, but he's so good and so consistently good that to see what we saw last night was, oh my God, it was crazy. It's hard to explain.
I mean, the expectations that everyone has for him, I don't know if there's ever been something so high, those expectations, because we've never seen a player like this ever.
I mean, we saw Gretzky,
but it was different, Spec. It was a different type of, Gretzky, he had 6 sets of eyes, but no one has ever been able to handle the puck and with speed and edge work and knifing in and change of speed and everything that most players have never even thought of trying, and never mind do. Gretzky's on a different level thinking the game. There's no question about that. He's the best that there ever was. Connor's the best at handling the puck at full speed with edge work and cutting in and putting pucks where there shouldn't be going at a level of speed that we've never seen before.
Yeah, that's fair. I would say to you, physical superiority, and that's not being the biggest or strongest guy on the ice, but the best skater. So much better than his peers at so many physical things, for sure. But listen, I don't. It was just crazy last night because, to me, that one of the things that really he didn't lose the puck entering the zone the way he had in game one so often, but the puck just died in his stick. And I guess we have to start giving Anaheim credit for this. They closed on him really well, and he, on a lot of occasions, given the choice to make a pass or try to beat somebody one-on-one, he tried to beat someone one-on-one, and they beat him, and the puck was gone. But hey, listen, I'm not coming on here to beat up on Connor McDavid.
No, God.
The rest of the team could, be better and help the guy out a little bit. But and the power play is a big thing here. This team has always got a lot of its offensive mojo off the power play. They get success on the power play, and it carries you into even strength. But 4 even strength goals, like I don't even know why we're talking about offense. You scored 4 even strength goals last night and you lost. It's not about your offense, Kev. They're scoring more than enough goals.
Where are you at with Connor Ingram here?
He was okay last night. He was just okay. He wasn't
Just
great.
okay.
You can't let in 5, and I'm not coming on the radio and say you played great. You let in 5. So, he was just okay. He'll play better. That's the first game where I looked at his game last night and thought that in quite some time. So,
you know,
guess what? He's part of the team. The whole team was no better than okay. Why should we expect him to be great?
Yeah, the 4-4 goal, Josh Szymanski, incredible shot. It started with Matt Savoy with a beautiful strip inside the blue line. Jack Roslovic with a nice feed. With the way the Oilers are set up now with injuries with Dickinson and Henrique, do you think that there's a Szymanski, Roslovic, and Savoy possibility moving forward here as a line?
Oh, geez, I don't know. That's a good question. They're light down the middle. Like if Henrique's hurt, Dickinson's hurt, Nugent Hopkins isn't getting anything done here. Now McDavid's dinged up. That's Edmonton's trump card against every opponent. Name me the team, and I'll tell you a team that they're better down the middle than when they're healthy. So that's right.
Yeah, I agree, Speck, and they're getting thin. I mean, Leon's only been back for a couple of games. What I'm saying is maybe Nugent Hopkins can go up there because he's done nothing, and he's done nothing since Leon went down. To be honest with you, if Nugent Hopkins goes up with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman, Leon's line is the only line that's doing anything right now. And then maybe you throw Szymanski, Savoy, and Roslovic together here.
I don't mind that. Sure, like you got to try some new things. I would say that we no question, Draisaitl's line's their best line.
Yep.
Last night that play was the first Savoy sighting we've really had in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, I'll say it again. Like without their first line being productive, I know Hyman scored a goal last night, but this team scored 8 even strength goals in 2 games in the series. That's the rest of the lineup, and that's without your first line producing, right? Your first line and your power play together produced 1 of those 8 goals. So, I guess what I'm telling you is the illusion of this being a series where Edmonton beats Anaheim 3-1 because of their defensive prowess. We're not even anywhere close to that. Like this is a 5-4 series here so far, right? Where were the scores? 4-3, 6-4.
Yeah.
So if it's going to be a 5-4 series, that's what Anaheim wants. Then if you're going to play it, you got to have a power play to play that game. You can't think you're winning any 5-4 hockey games if your power play doesn't contribute. So even strength, they're healthy. Even strength, they're producing. And I'm going to tell you, you got to lean and you got to trust on that power play. It's only been the best in the league for 5 years. It will come around, don't you think?
Well, you would think so. And I mean, the players said that too, even last night. Connor's saying, Leon's been out, Hyman's been out. We haven't had our sets or reps. So maybe that comes into play here. The one thing I want to talk about with Anaheim, and they loaded up their top line for the most part last night. They didn't start the game, but Gauthier ended up a lot of the game with Carlson and Terry. That's great. Well, yeah, that's big for Anaheim. But right now, the Ducks' fourth line is the most important line in this series, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah. They're listen, at some point we shift from the Oilers are playing bad and McDavid's not having a good series to give credit to Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
The other guys have a lot to do with this, right? They have a lot to do with it. Now, we've watched Connor McDavid for a decade. Nobody just controls him for the whole series long. That was the 5th time in his playoff career he's gone back-to-back games with no points. So other teams have done that to him for 2 games in a row, but he always comes out of it. He always finds ways to produce, and it often starts in the power play and then moves to even strength. But at this point, give Anaheim a ton of credit. They're doing a lot of good things. Guys like Tim Washi are
absolutely
winning battles and winning pucks that the Oilers aren't winning, and give credit to Anaheim. Can you do that? Can you keep doing that to Edmonton's first line for another 2 games here? Because in the history that we've watched them over the last 5 or 6 years, nobody's been able to shut that line down for 4 games in a row. So if Anaheim can, I'm going to tip my hat to them.
Well, just off the top of my head, and I don't have the stat sheet in front of me because the computers have frozen up here, but I think Washi was 12 and 6, pardon me, in the face-off dot last night. Won some key ones at the end. And I mean, he is being, and again, if you thought that it was going to be the fourth line of the Ducks going up against Connor McDavid, you would have went, Joel Quenneville, what are you doing? That's what everyone would have said.
Yeah,
and now they've seen it. They've seen it, and they're going, whoa, this is a problem.
Yeah. I mean, listen, when you build a team the way Anaheim is, like this is your classic rebuild there. They went to the bottom for a long time. They drafted, developed. They got a bunch of good guys on their team. They got guys coming still, but it can't all be top 6 point productive guys. A good team requires Tim Washi down there being, let's say he's going to be a 3C one day. That's fine. Like that, you got to have those guys too to win. So give Anaheim credit. They didn't just bring in the Gauthiers and formerly Trevor Zegris's and Carlson and all those skill guys, right? They got a real good checker here too, and good for them. Man. Good for them.
Yeah, I forgot to ask you, what's your schedule itinerary here, Spec, moving forward?
Going out this afternoon, so I'll do. I think I'm doing Jason Gregor's show at 3:00 Edmonton time, and then flying direct to LAX this afternoon.
Direct to LAX, not to John Wayne?
Well, either you can get a direct to LAX, which is nice, or you got to take a connector to get to John Wayne. But now I got to find my way from LAX to Anaheim, which is, you can do it. It's just a pain in the rear end. So it's kind of one or the other. Kev, you got to make a choice one way or the other.
Well, you're a professional. You can handle it.
I'm a pro. Yeah, I've been there before. LAX is like the Hunger Games of airports, though. It's awful, man.
Well, the Jays lost in Anaheim yesterday afternoon. They're out of town. So you wouldn't be close to seeing a Jays game, Spec.
Listen, it's up to I depend on Cam Moon to find us a baseball game, and that includes like UC Irvine or one of those college teams. But I don't know if he can go. Did you hear his voice last night?
I did. Yeah, I was concerned about him.
He's like losing his voice on the air. He was whispering the call last night on the radio. We get his call in the media room, and he and Bob was helping him as much as he could, doing all the talking. Bob's good at that, we know. But poor Mooner, man, he barely made it through the broadcast. So he may be sitting at home drinking hot tea and honey tonight.
Good stuff, Spec. We'll yak at you tomorrow morning. You okay with the early time?
Yeah, I guess so. We'll what's that, 7 a.m. out there? Yikes.
I don't know. I think the clock's changed and stuff. I don't know I'm not sure.
Oh my God, that's right. Maybe I'm on at 10 o'clock. I guess I better start researching that now so I get it right for tomorrow.
Exactly. All right, Spec. Yeah, catch you tomorrow, buddy.
All right.
Mark Spector, Rogers Sportsnet on the Mark, brought to you powered by Northgate Chevrolet. You know what? It's the place to get a deal right now. There's no question about it. Powered by Northgate. This truck's for you. Check them out only at northgategm.com. Duke, my text line crashed. I don't know if yours did as well.
Oh, yeah, it's crashed, man.
Gonzo Alonso.
The problem is there's too many people texting. It's crashed. It's overloaded the system, Kev.
Well,
too many people mad.
Greater Man was giving you the gears, eh?
Well, yeah, apparently this whole system's on the fritz. During the update there, the bed just randomly stopped playing and then started playing a commercial instead. And I'm trying to get through the update and bumbled half of it. But listen, sometimes you just got to roll with the punches, get through it, and we'll try to be better at the top of the 9 o'clock hour.
Beautiful. When we come back, Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell, and we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me, GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or business online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers the Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Hey, it's Jamie from Green Drop Lawn Care. You've known and trusted us as Canada's lawn expert since 1979. In all that time, the only thing we've loved to watch grow and flourish more than your lawn is our community. You've given us so much over the years, and we love to give back. Our community events crew is on the streets, at the festivals, and helping grow great causes and charities across the city. We love knowing your lawn is taken care of, and we'll help take care of the community too. Visit greendrop.com, and we'll see you out there.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 8:21 in Edmonton. Time now for the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing, the only team that you want in your corner when things get messy. For all your plumbing needs, go to mrreuter.ca as we welcome in Frank Zerabali from Victory Plus TV. Good morning, Frank.
How you doing, Kevin?
Well, it's a little testy on our text line, as you could imagine here, but I want to start in Philly, where you were at the game last night. How was it, big guy?
It was electric. What an atmosphere. That game had a little bit of everything. And from a Sidney Crosby embellishment, which, as you can imagine, is just like tossing red meat to 19,000 people, to I've never seen this before in all my years covering hockey. There's 5 guys in the box for each team.
Mm-hmm.
And the Flyers score. Trevor Zegras scores on a 1T on the power play, and he doesn't go to the bench. The first thing he does is go to the penalty box to celebrate with the guys that are in there.
Yeah. I think I can't remember. There was a word that, because I was watching it, getting ready to go to the game, Paul Bissonnette called them a bunch of, I'll get the word here in a second, but I can't remember what it was, Frank, but it was a compliment and derogatory all at once to Philadelphia fans.
Sounds about right.
Yes. Hey, did the officials suck the life out of the building there? You know, when prior to that, what you're talking about, it was
Mhm.
like 15 minutes, man. What are we
It
doing?
was a good 10 minutes. Like we were all sitting there going, what's happening? And then the best part was when the play started again, the PA announcer, he's been there for 40 some years, Lou Nolan, he goes, here are the penalties we think. Like they were still sorting them out, like who got what and for how long. And I was just like, it's not really that complicated. We
No.
see scrums like this all the time. You don't need to take every guy that's in on the ice and put them in the box, but they did for both teams. And the odd part about that, as Sidney Crosby pointed out after the game, is that it probably benefited the Flyers a lot more than it did the
Mhm.
Penguins.
It sure did. As a result of everything that happened there, you know what we saw with Zegras and Rust.
Mhm.
Will there be anything going on today with Zegras?
I don't think so.
Why not?
Uh, I don't think anything was clear enough to me to distinguish any sort of supplemental discipline.
Not sort of a back kick? You know, and I mean, you know how the league is with kicking, Frank. You know how they are.
Well, they should be very stringent.
Yeah.
There's no margin for error or room for kicking in our game. So I didn't see enough to warrant that. But
I only look at it, Frank, because it was like a second attempt. You know what I mean?
mhm.
So you don't see anything that would warrant not like at the least I thought he would get a fine here.
I mean, a fine is possible. I don't know.
Hmm.
Honestly, I didn't see a whole lot there.
Okay. Yeah, the guys were
Penguins were
saying
irate, and Dan Muse was really unhappy with the embellishment call.
he was very unhappy about it. What did you think of it?
I mean, I thought it was a fair even up. I mean, there's no reason for Garnet Hathaway to be making contact with Sidney Crosby's face with his stick, but at the same time, he looked like he was shot from the
Mhm.
upper deck by a sniper the way
Yes.
that he went down on the ice. So I thought there was a little much. And then it was almost like Sid kind of admitted it. I don't know if you saw that clip in the box where there was a fan kind of giving him like the side eye, and he was like, yeah, you're right.
I wouldn't have called either.
Well, but that's where I think the rules are messed up. It's one or the other. It can't be both. Either it's diving and embellishment, or it's a penalty, and it's not that they can't both be called on the same play.
Well, I just think like the trade-off, I mean, it helps Philadelphia. So
Of course.
that's what I'm saying. So I wouldn't
One
have
of the
called
best
either.
players of all time in exchange for Garnet Hathaway. I mean, the Flyers are taking that trade every day of the week
Sure.
and twice on Sunday.
That's what I'm saying. I would have called nothing on the play. I would have said
I agree. I'm cool with that, but I'd also would have been cool with just Hathaway going, or I would have been cool with just the dive.
Mm-hmm. Text 833-401-1440 coming in, and the word was scumbags is what
100%.
was used.
Yeah.
So is that more of a compliment or a derogatory term?
I don't know. And I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this on air, but for the entire tenure that I was at TSN, and he still texts me, SPDB, Bob McKenzie, his nickname for me was South Philly douchebag. That's what I was for years and years. So he texted me last night. He goes, is SPDB at the game tonight? And I said, of course he is.
SPDB.
Yeah.
Wow. That is outstanding. Man, I wish I had a nickname like that, Frank. Oh, man. Frank Saravalli with us here on Sports 1440. So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, this series is over.
I think so. It's not just like the extracurriculars. The Flyers have actually outplayed the Penguins. I thought they were in for it last night. I have to admit, though, the way Pittsburgh started the game and that early power play goal, they really controlled play. They quieted things down. And after that point, the Flyers outshot Pittsburgh by like a 14-3 margin for a period of time. The game was tilted. It was either one way or the other. And I know that happens sometimes in playoffs. It sometimes becomes like basketball where you have these teams go on runs for a bit. The Penguins just haven't had an answer. Last night in the first period was their first lead all series, and it lasted like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Were you able to watch any of the Oilers or just some highlights this morning or what?
I did. I watched most of it. I got home. I listened to Cam and Bob in the car on the way back, and then watched, I'd say, the last half of it.
Okay.
And first off, I think Anaheim deserves full marks. They have been a really stingy team so far. They've been scrappy, and they've earned all the breaks that they've gotten. And I just think there were a couple things that have shown their head so far that, from an Oiler perspective, are probably pretty disappointing. One is what's happened with the power play. Two, everyone wants to talk about the McDavid injury. It matters, of course. I think not just for this series, for the long term, but I don't have any evidence yet that it's going to be significant or hamper him. But three would be, I felt like that was maybe the first time in a while that didn't feel that great about Connor Ingram.
It's fair, but he was like the rest of the team, Frank.
Yeah, and I feel bad singling him out, but you, like, the reminder that I give to everyone, and if I said this about Stuart Skinner, I want to be consistent and fair now about Connor Ingram. It's okay to make a save. You're allowed to make a save in key spots to bail your team out. That can be expected.
If I were to tell you that, I mean, the Oilers have 8 even strength 5-on-5 goals in this series, and Anaheim has 4, what would you have said to that stat? And even to the point of that stat, you would think that the Oilers are dominating Anaheim 5-on-5.
Well, and it's not just the number of goals, it's also who has scored them. They've gotten an almost entire playoff run out of their depth scoring in the first 2 games. They need more high-end stars putting up points. And typically that's never a question. And particularly in the playoffs, those guys are automatic. But even injury withstanding, like, this has not been a very impressive first 2 games of the series for Connor McDavid. And it's great to get contributions from Dickinson and Murphy and Szymanski and all these guys that have chipped in. But you need your stars to carry you on a night like last night when a lot of things are happening. There's a moment in time where you can seize hold of the game, which the Oilers could never really kind of quite wrap their hands around, and they just weren't able to do it.
Frank Saravalli with us on Sports 1440. Around the league tonight, you got Buffalo and Boston. How do you see this one playing out after a split by the Bruins in Buffalo?
I think the Bruins have been the better team through 2 games. I think I perhaps underestimated Boston's ability to lock it down. And that's been a huge difference maker in this series. I know there was a lot of talk heading in about Buffalo's style, that they trade chances a lot, and that might not be a recipe for playoff success. I've been less concerned about that, but more impressed with Boston's ability to neutralize what Buffalo wants to do and how they want to play. And so I've got the Bruins taking the series lead tonight. If you take out some of the score effects of last game, and then you also look at the first 52-ish minutes of game 1, it's pretty tilted for Boston, and they've been pretty impressive.
I'm assuming that Lindy Ruff goes back to Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen for game number 3 tonight.
I would think so.
What would your expectations be of him after subpar performance and a couple of bad goals, in my opinion, in game 2?
I fault him less for that dump in. I know that anything from center ice you should grab, but many quality infielders have had bad hops on them in significant moments.
Can't let the ball play you, Frank. You can't let the puck play you.
Well, when it unexpectedly bounces 3 feet in front of you and has all kinds of English on it, which if you watch that puck from the reverse angle and watch it actually hit the twine, the speed that relatively routine dump in hit the net with told me all that I needed to know. So I'm not going to hammer Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen today, but here's the cold hard fact is Jeremy Swayman has been by far the better goalie in this series. We thought that would be an advantage for Boston heading in. He hasn't faltered. And I thought his leadership to push for a timeout in that situation as Boston was frittering away another lead was incredibly important moment in this series. And Buffalo is going to need way better goaltending in order to compete.
Carolina, Ottawa, anyway, Sens get back in the series tonight.
I felt like they gave Carolina a pretty good punch twice. And Carolina has not staggered at all. They've been just fine. And even like think about the moment where the goal gets wiped off the board, they miss on the penalty shot. To find a way to remain composed in that moment is a team that's been there before. They've had a 2-0 lead in 5 of their last 6 playoff runs in round 1. The reason why Carolina is able to go deep is they make it easy on themselves. Even in tense, tight situations, there's a really tight first 2 games. There's probably less room in that series than there is in any other, except for maybe LA and Colorado, based on what I'm seeing. And they're perfectly comfortable playing that way.
Out of all the series that you've watched, Frank, which one did you go, okay, I've only got one that I can watch, and I want to watch it for excitement. I want to watch it for physicality. I want to watch it for great plays, passing, scoring, saves. If you got to pick one after seeing basically 2 for sure in every best of 7, which series would it be so far?
Montreal and Tampa.
Okay.
The speed, the skill, the hate factor, the dynamics of these high-end players that have ways to produce in dramatic situations. Like I think that series is the best hockey being played right now, with all due respect to like Minnesota, Dallas, which that's just more of a grind and a slugfest. It's a lot. It feels faster and higher skilled in Montreal, just watching the 2 side by side.
Vegas and Utah has been really exciting too, Frank. I thought
It has, yeah.
So the
Utah
Montreal
has a significant speed advantage.
Betcha.
Vegas played a lot faster under John Tortorella, but that's on display too.
You betcha. So, okay, the Montreal Tampa, after game 1, I said I was surprised that the Lightning didn't bully it up in game number 1, but they did in game number 2. Your thoughts on our discussion on Tuesday and how it moved forward to another level for the Lightning in game 2?
I don't necessarily know to their advantage.
No, Frank. I mean, you're the only guy that's not seeing this, Frank.
Okay, so let me paint a picture for you. There's 2 minutes and 17 seconds left in a tied game. And John Cooper, because of this need to play the way that you're talking about, has Scott Sabourin, who averaged 7 minutes and 27 seconds this season on the ice, 2-2, 2:17 left. Why? Dumb penalty, nearly cost them the game. If I'm the Canadians, I'm going, okay, yeah, take your run at Josh Anderson all you want. It's the only way you can compete with us. And good luck. We're perfectly happy having you have Scott Sabourin on the ice late.
Okay, that one is a coaching mistake. I'll agree with you there. But I'm talking about the game
I
as
got some agreement from you.
Yeah. I'm talking about the game as a whole, Frank. Compare game 1 and 2. And they messed it up. They bullied it up times 100 compared to game number 1. And they need to do that for game number 3 as well tomorrow.
I think trying to play a certain way, if your team isn't fully equipped and capable to do it, sets you up on a recipe for failure.
A recipe for failure. Are you going to the game? What is it? Saturday, I guess. For game?
No, I'm not.
What's
I
going on?
coach
What?
a minor hockey tournament.
What do you mean?
I know. I got roped into spring hockey, and you just take a nice spring weekend with some golf ability and hockey playoffs, and you just flush it right down the toilet.
And you know what, Frank? We were supposed to be golfing here this weekend. I don't know if we're going to be able to. It's just it's dirt. It's what is it, Duke? -1.
Well, yeah, I said I'm going anyway. I don't care.
Oh, Duke's
if the
going
course lets me out, I'm going. I'll bundle up.
-1, and you're going to play?
Well, it looks like it's plus.
I'm tough, Frank.
-2 on Saturday, Frank. I don't know.
My limit is kind of like 10 Celsius. I don't play much below 10.
You know that the Duke is a Ducks fan, right, Frank?
I did not.
Oh, yeah. Well, how much heat do you think he's taking? He went to the game last night.
Did you wear a Ducks jersey?
Yes, he did. Duke.
I just saw Oiler fans fighting Oiler fans
I know.
last night. What? So I can only imagine what they were doing to Ducks fans.
No, nobody messed with me. Like a 10-year-old kid was booing me when I was in line for beer, but outside of that, it was mostly good natured and everything like that. I must people don't want to mess with me. They don't like the cut of my jib.
I mean, I respect that. I wouldn't. But how does one become a Ducks fan living in Alberta?
It was back in 2003, really, like when they went on the run of the final. I kind of latched on as a young man then and just enjoyed it. J.S. Shigeri's my hero.
The least exciting Stanley Cup final ever.
Well, when you're 7 years old, you don't look at it that way. You're just like, man, this team's unreal. They don't let in any goals.
I guess.
Well, that kid was probably the same height as you too, Duke, so that's probably why. We had a texter, Frank, that said they should call him the Puke of Delburne moving forward.
No kidding. I respect that. I mean, at least he's not a bandwagon fan.
Oh, no.
I had this. My wife texted me last night. So I told you before, not bringing my kid to the game because he's not a Flyers fan. So I went with a credential. I'm not gonna get him a ticket to go. But she's texting me last night. He's watching the game and he's like cheering. And she sent me a meme. She goes, "There's room on the bandwagon for everyone."
Well, have a great weekend, Coach and Frank. We'll talk to you on Tuesday. We're going to see a lot of things sort of settled out by the weekend here. Take care, man.
Thanks, Kevin.
That's Frank Saravalli, Victory Plus TV, and our headliner of the day brought to you by Mr. Rooter, dropping their gloves on every clog pool. That's mrrooter.ca. Imagine, Duke, if you were in the middle of something last night,
So, Kevin, I went down that escalator. I don't know if these fights happened before or after, because we sat in the seat for a little bit afterwards. I am usually, like, it's already late. I'm in no rush to get home at this point, and let things clear out a little bit to make it easier leaving. I don't know if this fight happened before I went down the escalator, after. I had no idea that this was going on. I saw the video of it this morning. What is wrong with people?
I have no idea.
Like, what happens on the concourse of a hockey arena that can incite a full-out brawl involving like 10 people?
Well, and all of them, not all of them, I would say 8 out of 10 were wearing Oiler jerseys.
Oh, for sure.
I saw a lot of Hyman jerseys, to be honest with you. I was like,
they're trying to
I was like,
pull from his his style on the ice, the gritty nature of Zach Hyman's game. But like, I find, like, Kevin, I think you're in the same camp as me here. I love sports, and I have my favorite teams across the league. Sure, growing up, you kind of stick to those even as you become an adult. But like, I can honestly say there has never, ever been anything that has happened to me watching a sport live in a bar with my friends, with like, even in Mexico, there were Dodgers fans watching the game with us at Game 7 at the resort bar. Nothing has ever happened that has made me so upset that I want to fight anybody, regardless of what team they're rooting for. Like, I just don't get it. And I love sports. I'm a very passionate sports fan. But come on, what are we talking about?
And again, it's such a small percentage of the great fans we have in this city. And again, the village idiot that threw the rotisserie chicken on the ice. We had a texture.
Somebody said it was like, that's Peking duck.
Which makes it even more nutso, because don't you have to order Peking duck days in advance?
If Seinfeld taught us anything, yes, you need to order that like a week out.
Days in advance. So, I mean, you can talk about something premeditated. That's premeditated. Peking, and we know it wasn't Peking duck. It was just a rotisserie chicken. But I mean, okay, how much of an outcome or bearing that had on the game, whatever. But it did suck a little life out of the building because there was a delay, and the Oilers had just scored to make it 4-4.
And over like, this was my first time going to a playoff game of any variety at Rogers Place or an Oilers game. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because of the back and forth nature where the Ducks did a good job of, responding after the Oilers would score. And I was a little underwhelmed. But like, when the Oilers score, of course, the place goes nuts. Everybody's on their feet. It's great. But in between those things happening, and I think the nature of the game, which I think we're going to touch on a little bit during in or out, the lack of physicality compared to game number 1, especially to start game number 1, I thought the atmosphere in the building was really nothing to write home about for most of the night.
You were there at the very beginning, though?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So when you're there, when they come out of the,
to start when they're coming out of the tunnel and they got the sliding doors out and the anthem, it's unbelievable. And we've talked about this ad nauseum over the past 3 years at this point. There is, in my opinion, nothing like it across sport.
But, okay, so they score a goal to tie it up on the power play. So now at that point, it's a little husher. But when they scored the 2 goals in the second, that took the life out of the building too, Duke.
Absolutely.
It's 3-1 on the power play from Killorn, and that was just, a pass that was intended, goes off a stick, off a pad, and
right
then
back
in.
to him, yeah.
So, and everyone's, back to the fans. Everyone's lit up, man. Everyone's had a few. So, when we come back, we'll get to some of your texts. We should probably hear from one of the other players in the locker room last night on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
I won't shave till we bring home the cup.
And I like to do a shot for every playoff goal.
My jersey's not coming off until we're the city of champs again.
Want a playoff superstition that always wins? Pick up a bag of Wilhock beef jerky for every game. Because when it comes to the playoffs, where there's a Wilhock, there's a way.
Make every playoff game a Will Hockey game day with Wilhock beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't bring home the cup with salad.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Do you have neck or back pain? Ever go for treatment hoping for a simple fix only to realize your stubborn spine is basically a science project with attitude? Hey, we get it. And honestly, we're a little sorry because great rehab does take proper experimenting. But at Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we don't just toss exercises into the beaker and hope it doesn't explode. We start with the right diagnosis, then mix hands-on care, precise manual therapy, and evidence-based technology. The formula your body actually needs. Science and skill with gratitude, not attitude. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Mr. Rooter sees a UFO. Mr. Rooter says 1 plunge, 2. What's this? A UFO? An unidentified floating object. It's beginning to glow and levitate.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. You have freed us from the gravity of the white hole. Humanity will be spared.
Wow! People aren't going to believe this when I put it in our new commercial. If you want to believe in a plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
It's like a locker room, minus the smell.
Ew.
Kevin Karius brings the banter, the buzz, and the bold sports talk. Weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for sports.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, excavators, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, packers, road reclaimers, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Hey, it's Jamie from Green Drop Lawn Care. From the big mall in the west to the Arena District downtown, Edmonton is beautiful. But when I see your lawns, I know one thing's for certain. Weeds are coming. Be proactive and take advantage of our early bird savings until April 30th.
Green Drop has been Canada's lawn expert since 1979. And they're in your community, keeping your yard looking beautiful with affordable lawn care packages that include fertilizer, weed control, drought fighter, and more. Visit greendrop.com.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring Japa Equipment Rentals realignment with 5 2022 to 2020 XCMG 250U, 300U, 360U, and 490U excavators. Search Japa at maauctions.com.
Sports 1440. All sports, all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 849 in Edmonton, text 833-401-1440. MTR says, my conspiracy theory is that the Duke threw that rotisserie chicken on the ice to zap momentum out of the building. I didn't know you liked rotisserie chicken, Duke.
I don't really, to be honest with you. Would be far from my favorite thing. And I guess that would lean into me not wanting to eat it, so I might as well throw it on the ice. No, wrong side. I was, hey, listen, if I could get it from where I was sitting, I should be playing in the majors. I'm like the kid from Rookie of the Year with the elastic arm, zipping it back to home plate at Wrigley. No, I was up in section 221, row 6.
Ooh.
I was very pleasantly surprised with the tickets I was able to find. I was hounding for a good chunk of the post show yesterday, and a lot of ones more in the corners or on the ends of the upper deck, but this one was pretty close to center ice, and great view, really good view.
The Bob Bucher. Oh, I must be in the front row. IMAX says a Canadian team suspending a guy for life when they've been tossing octopus, fish, etc., on other sheets of ice is ridiculous. He's a tool for the timing. Whatever. We never heard on TV what it was. No, it wasn't a duck. No, it wasn't. It's a rotisserie chicken. Again. I don't even know, to get duck, maybe some guys have them in their freezer, but you could clearly see on the other network shot.
Yeah, the TNT, they kind of had a good zoom-in shot of it. If you didn't see it, our friend Waz over at Oilers Nation, he reposted the video this morning from the TNT broadcast where he kind of commented, he's like, yeah, the TNT gave you up close look at it. Sportsnet, not so much. So I didn't see the broadcast, obviously, but from what I heard.
Yeah. Last night, Zach Hyman scored the goal. Deflection off the Matthias Ekholm shot. Played 21 minutes. Had 5 hits. He was involved. He's around it. Everyone will look at the stat sheet. Oh, -3. One's an empty netter. One's on the shorthanded. That whole 5-man unit on the shorthanded goal was just out to lunch. Especially when they got back in their own zone. So anyway, after the game, Zach Hyman had some of these post-game comments.
Take us through that play with Matthias, and I'll concern you right away. Take us through that play with Matthias, and I'll concern you right away.
I'm clicking on the Zach Hyman audio, and it just continues to give me Connor McDavid. So I'm not too sure what's that story about.
The fans, we got a lot of comments about, just you're liquored up if you're fighting like that at the end of a game, and that makes no sense. And oh man, it's a bad look. And then, of course, what does Yegwave do? They put it out there, and then everyone else resends it, and it just turns into an absolute, show. Scuff Darren says, hey, hope you're not golfing at Mill Woods. We're getting some small snow pellets here. The weather right now is just absolutely abysmal. We're going to look at flurries here for the next, 2-3 days? And minus for Saturday, overnight, we're looking at -3s and 4s and 5s. Hopefully this doesn't hurt the golf courses around town for sure. Duke, how you making out on Zach Hyman? No good?
Doesn't exist at the moment.
It's Gonzo Alonso. Well, that's okay.
We can listen to Connor Murphy or Chris Knobloch if we'd like. But
by the time we get to those guys, we're going to have to get the break because we got Paul. We got Paul Sir coming up at 9 o'clock. We'll take a break from hockey. We've talked hockey for 2 hours here, so we're going to talk a little basketball. Even at 9:20, before we get to in or out with the Duke, we got to mention the NFL draft tonight. Major League Baseball, man, there's some things going on in baseball with some pitchers and some hitters that are doing things that we haven't seen before. So we'll talk about that as well at about 9:20. And then 10:20, we got AJ Jakubic from TSN 1200 in Ottawa. It's game number 3 between Carolina and the Senators tonight. Can the Sens get back in the lineup or get back in the series with a lineup that has been pretty good so far in this series, but they just haven't been able to find a way, lose game number 2, obviously in overtime. So we'll get to those comments from AJ Jakubic a bit later in the show. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by All-Star Construction. They shape and build Edmonton communities, specializing in underground utilities like power, gas, telecommunication, and street lighting. That's All-Star Construction. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers fall last night at the hands of the Ducks. 6-4 the final from Rogers Place. That series now knotted at 1 game apiece. It'll shift to Anaheim for games 3 and 4. Cutter Gauthier, 2 goals, including the game winner, tacked on an assist as well in the winning effort. Rest of the NHL playoff picture, Flyers take a 3-0 series lead over the Penguins after winning 5-2 from home ice last night. And the Dallas Stars win a thriller 4-3 in double overtime, take a 2-1 series lead over Minnesota. Wyatt Johnston with the game winner in that one. Over in the PWHL, Ottawa gets past Boston 2-1 in overtime, and Minnesota falling to Seattle 5-4. In the BCHL playoff picture, Sherwood Park beating Brooks 5-4 in overtime to even that series at 2 games apiece. They'll now shift to Brooks for game number 5 tomorrow night. And in the IIHF U18 World Championships, Canada blank Latvia 6-0 this morning. Sweden checks currently underway. They're tied at 0 in the early going. Over in the association, Detroit gets even in their first round matchup with Orlando, 98-83 winners last night. And the OKC Thunder, led by 37 points from reigning MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they beat the Suns 120-107 to open up a 2-0 series lead. In the majors, Blue Jays dropped their finale in Anaheim against the Angels, 7-3 the final. Elsewhere, Houston blanking Cleveland 2-0. Boston losing to the Yankees 4-1. And the Mets, they snapped their 12-game losing streak with a 3-2 win over Minnesota. Coming up in hour 3 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Paul Sir from Hoop City, covering the NBA, and we'll check in with a new edition of In or Out. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Good to go. Let's go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, good to go.
Looking for a solid 4x4 that checks all the boxes? The 2026 Jeep Compass is in stock now at St. Albert Dodge, and this is a great value, starting from just $36,900. It's a Jeep, so you've got 4x4 capability, plus features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, active lane management, a park view rear backup camera, and more. Over 30 in stock right now in just about every color you'd want. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
For over 50 years, the Brick has been proudly serving Canada. They love to save you more on everything you need for your home. Save up to 60% off made in Canada sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair. Find patio sets starting at just $99 and save up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, take 5 years to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses. Taxes and fees due at purchase, OAC. Visit a Brick near you for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Welcome back to Nissan Head to Head. Today, we've got Nissan Kicks coming in strong as a leader in fuel efficiency for gas-only CUVs. Some of the other guys respond with, wallet-breaking detour to the pumps. Hats off to Nissan's fuel-efficient Japanese engineering.
Right now, finance a Nissan Kicks for 0% for 36 months. Visit nissan.ca for details. Conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Tim's Smile Cookie is almost here. And with every bite, you'll help make a difference close to home because 100% is donated to over 600 local charities and community groups. Buy your Tim's Smile Cookies April 27th to May 3rd at participating restaurants in Canada for a limited time.
What is this? A Mowing Giant sale sign. It's for Canadian Tire's Spring Big Red Sale. I think they meant like big savings, not this.
Save up to 50% at Canadian Tire's Spring Big Red Sale, April 23rd to 30th. Exclusions apply. Details online.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 9 o'clock in Edmonton, hour number 3 of the Kevin Karius Show. So glad you could spend some time with us here on a Thursday morning. Time to switch gears, talk a little basketball with Paul Sir, the host of Hoop City, that you hear from 10 to 12 right here every Saturday on Sports 1440 AM radio. Good morning, Paul. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks as always for jumping on the morning show. Really appreciate it, big guy.
Always look forward to it, Kevin. Good morning.
Morning. Hey, before we get to the games last night, I just want to start with the Raptors and their game tonight. Game number 3, obviously, it's do or die for them. What do they got to do to get back in this series with the Cavs here, Paul?
Well, they weren't far off in game 2. They were closer to what they needed to do to be at least somewhat successful against the Cavs. As everybody, I think, was expecting, the backcourt of Donovan Mitchell and James Harden is problematic. 2 very high-level, top-tier players in the NBA, and they haven't disappointed. They've been very, very good, and the Raptors haven't come up with real answers for them. I think, though, they were closer. If over the course of a series, you always hope, Kevin, that you're going to start figuring things out in finding ways, small ways, in fact, that you're going to make Harden and Mitchell a little bit more uncomfortable. Scotty Barnes guarding, for instance, on the outside on the perimeter, and one of those players using his length to bother them. But what really I think has been the most glaring weakness is Brandon Ingram's play, like non-existent. Just no ability right now to deal with the defense, not of Mobley, the defensive player of the year, but actually Wade has really troubled Ingram. So Ingram's got to figure out a way to be effective. And if they can get him involved in the offense, I think they have a real good shot again tonight to be in this game. Not that they'll win, but that they can compete more effectively and not be losing by double digits.
What'd you see from Ingram in games 1 and 2, especially game 2, where, he didn't get off to that good start and it sort of snowballed on him?
It really did. I think one of the thoughts I had was there's regular season players and there's playoff players. Brandon Ingram still has not found what it takes to be an effective playoff player. And teams are going to try everything in the playoff, both in terms of being physical and in terms of the effort and energy they're going to put into defend and try to take away your tendencies. Brandon Ingram's slight fellow. We all know that. He has to use his length to his advantage. But if you've got a very physical player making you, again, uncomfortable, taking you further away from the basket, not letting you get to the basket, you've got to find other ways to score. So far, Ingram hasn't done that. But it really starts with he had better effort and energy in the second game. He has to build on that now and layer in the skills that he possesses and the capabilities that he has to be a meaningful scorer. Like, we need 18 to 25 from Brandon Ingram to even have a shot at winning against this powerful Cavaliers team.
So also in game 2, I think they went away from Jakob Poeltl a little bit more. Would you say that? And then decided to go, I don't know if you want to call it small ball a little bit more here, Paul. Do you see that for game 3 too?
Well, maybe, but I that's one criticism I have of NBA coaching is that the abandonment of players who have been effective. And the thing with Poeltl is that he is capable of, both on the defensive side and the offensive side, of being effective, particularly against a Cleveland team who has legitimate bigs. So I really hope they don't run away from him, but they really try to find situations where they play him more effectively and get better matchups for him, because they need him, and they need him on the pick and roll. So I really disagree with I read adjustments like that oftentimes, Kevin, as panicking in the moment, as opposed to being systematic. And it shows that you don't have confidence in your players. And even though these guys have all kinds of zeros at the end of their paycheck, they're still athletes who require coaches' belief and confidence in order to be effective. So I'm hoping that Poeltl will be more of a factor tonight, but maybe they will continue to go small ball.
So again, I agree with you, Paul, because it's risk and reward. Is the risk worth what could happen? Because maybe all of a sudden you start getting in situations that you don't want. But I mean, is there a possibility we might see more of Colin Murray Boyles? Where are you thinking on that sense there, Paul?
Well, risk reward it's a great way to put it, because how did that work in game 2 to bench Poeltl? Were they better because they benched Poeltl, or was it just another way of being like, I really don't know. I didn't see any proof that the adjustment worked better than keeping Poeltl in there and working with him to try to get what he does more effectively. And maybe there's something the coaches see, of course, that we don't, or that I don't in particular, that there's some weakness in Poeltl's game that the Cavs are exploiting, making him unplayable in certain situations. But when you go to the small ball and you've got a team like Cleveland with the length that they have and a great Hall of Fame passer and setup man like James Harden, you can also get punished for going small too. It's not like going with small ball that you're going to necessarily be more effective. You'll be quicker, but not necessarily more effective. They may exploit the height difference and the size difference even more.
Yeah. Paul Sir from Hoop City, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. Last night, OKC won quite handily over Phoenix to take a 2-0 series lead in that series at 120-107. The final there, SGA had another big game. Jalen Williams looked good until he got hurt. Hamstring, I think, again. How serious do you think that is, and how big of a detriment is that for OKC moving forward here, Paul?
Well, if you look at the way that they played in the regular season, they probably won't miss a beat. As great as Williams is, they're awfully deep and awfully good, and they really seem to have the kind of roster that you can go to with the next man up mentality and have the next man stepping in and being very, very good. But again, in a long playoff series, Kevin, you need your best players on the court for the most amount of time. So that does definitely weaken them. SGA was fantastic. Talk about an all-Canadian show last night. Dylan Brooks has 30. SGA has 35. Very, very impressive. I love Dylan Brooks' comment after the game when they asked him about SGA's fouls. They said, well, he's a bit frail. And he used the term frail, which isn't as dramatic as McDaniels used about the terrible defenders in Denver, but still calling him frail, and they're going to give him those calls. That's a needling that comes from an awful lot of players and coaches in the NBA about what they consider to be perhaps some preferential treatment for the most likely league MVP. But Oklahoma City, even without Williams, I don't think Phoenix has a real shot at going back home, and maybe they can take one from them, or not, but I can't see them having the ability, even without Williams, in coming back in this series.
Paul, sir, with us in Sports 1440. Hey, got to go to Husks from the text line there, Paul.
Hey, Husks.
KK wondering if Mr. Sir thinks that Scoot Henderson can keep up this level of play. I hope so, but I doubt it. He has the game, but can't seem to put it all together. From Husks, what are your thoughts?
Well, Scoot Henderson, it's a great question because, the Wemby had an otherworldly performance in game one. And the Spurs played very, very well, and they won by, I think it was 9 or 11. I forget which one it is. But so it wasn't like it was a massive blowout, even with Wemby performing at that level. And then in game two, Wemby goes down early. Tragically, we all hope this isn't something that's going to keep him out for multiple games or hopefully any games. I really haven't heard what the status is at this point. But
just protocol, just protocol, I guess.
Yeah. Protocol. So hopefully he's okay. But Portland's good, and they're getting better. And they had a good final, let's say, third of the season where they started really piecing together more consistency. And Scoot Henderson's a big part of that. Avidia is outstanding. He's an elite player, top 20 player in the league. But Scoot Henderson, very, very good. Sharp, the Canadian, had been injured a lot of the year, but he's starting to contribute. Klingon is a surprisingly good big man for them. They have great wing defenders. So Henderson's consistency, we'll see. But also, I would say on the San Antonio side, they are not playoff tested either. So really, you've got a baseline where both teams are coming into this fresh without a lot of playoff experience and veteran leadership. So I'm hoping Henderson can keep it up and continue to make this a really competitive series in which many people thought was going to be a blowout by the Spurs.
Did you were you surprised a little bit with the Sixers beating Boston the other night, Paul?
Very surprised.
Yeah. Very
surprised. Wow. Did we see a backcourt that is going to be fun to watch? The thing about that victory was Paul George was good, and the guards were great. Edgecombe and Maxey were fantastic. What a dynamic pair. And the fact that there's been some writing that Allen Iverson's been working with VJ, and you can see some more junk to his game, AI junk to his game. It's a different kind of AI than we hear about all the time, but AI at times looked like he was not human, but I was surprised. The thing that surprised me the most is they handled Boston. They didn't eke out a win like Atlanta did over New York. Find a way in the fourth quarter. New York's melting down. Atlanta has a great run. They just dominated the Celtics pretty much throughout. That was a big surprise. I did not think that Philadelphia had that kind of roster, but the 76ers, to Low Tide's, I'm sure, joy, showed well. And now we've got a series. So it's going to be interesting when they go into the city of brotherly love.
Well, any time you can split with the first two games on the road, just like Minnesota did here. So, I mean, we got game number 3 of that series tonight, where Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets go into mini, and you're very familiar with the Timberwolves. So what are your thoughts on where this series is headed, Paul, between the Nuggets and Wolves?
I'll tell you what, that was a game. Like the playoffs are the playoffs, but that was, I think, the most compelling playoff game, start to finish, in terms of toe-to-toe stuff. I do a weekly newsletter / blog, and what my point was on the Timberwolves is that the MVP for the game for the Wolves was a guy that scored 2 points and had 7 rebounds, and that was Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen a player bother Jokic the way that he did in the fourth quarter. He absolutely had Nikola flustered, missing layups, missing jump hooks, and genuinely bothered and uncomfortable. Can he keep that up? After the game, did you see the McDaniels comments about how did we beat them? He said, well, they're terrible defenders. And he goes, we just went at Murray. We went at Jokic. They're terrible defenders. They're a terrible defensive team. So we just figured out that we had to go at them. The crazy part is he's absolutely right. Denver was 26th in team defense throughout the year. Everybody knows they're not a great defensive team. And the Wolves stopped being a perimeter-based jump shooting team and turned into an attacking team. It unleashed Anthony Edwards, but Julian Randle was fantastic. McDaniels on defense is an absolute monster and nightmare, particularly in the fourth quarter. And DiVincenzo, what a gamer. One of the best shooters, three-point shooters in the NBA. So the Nuggets are in tough, but we all know how the Joker responds to situations like this. This is going to be a phenomenal game tonight in Minnesota. The Minnesota fans are actually going to be awake. And I'm a longtime critic, by the way, of Minnesota fans. But they're going to be awake and excited tonight, as they should be.
Dozy or what, Paul? Just dozy or what?
Fair weather. Minnesota fans suck. They're just fair weather bandwagon hoppers. So that's an Iowa boy, Iowa-Minnesota rivalry sort of stuff. But anyway, it's going to be an exciting game tonight, and I think that to me is the highlight game, the highlight series so far, in among very, very surprising results. Orlando, Detroit, we didn't touch on them. Orlando splitting, very surprising. So lots of, I think, unexpected intrigue in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, Cunningham was good, though, to get, the Pistons back in the series. I'm going to throw it over to your sidekick, Josh Fenwick. I'm sure he's got some just scintillating questions for you, Paul.
100%. I cannot wait.
Yeah. Hi, Paul. How's it going?
Hey, Josh. Good, Josh.
Oh, fantastic. So if you're talking about comments to the media, I'm wondering if you saw CJ McCollum's comments to the media after game 2.
I did not. I'm sorry. So illuminate me.
So he was talking about how they were hunting for guys like Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns on the floor without actually saying it. He was asked, he said, what do you think? And they said, yeah. And then he nodded his head and said, yes, we're looking for that. So ultimately the question is, have the New York Knickerbockers found a new villain out of Atlanta by the name of CJ McCollum?
Absolutely. And the Hawks, McCollum's acquisition this year from Washington was, to me, the linchpin that made the Hawks a threat to the Knicks, because the guy's a veteran, he's savvy, he's physical, he's a physical scorer, and he makes a great point. Karl Anthony Towns is not a great defender in space. He's a good shot blocker, he's a very good rebounder, and he can really shoot the three, but in space, he's not a great defender. And Brunson's a little guy. Like, you've got, he's to me, he's a 5'11" Dirk Nowitzki. He's going to beat you horizontally, and he's going to beat you as a crafty offensive player who can score in a variety of creative manners. But on defense, he can be exploited. So if you can isolate those two with attacking players, particularly a guy like McCollum, who's big and physical, you're going to have opportunities to score. So the Knicks are going to have to make big adjustments as a team and find ways not to switch on picks. I've finally seen a lot of criticism in the media about how the NBA has become such a sloppy defensive league in how they defend screens, is that there's an automatic switch. So you're automatically getting a guy like Cat guarding a guy like McCollum far away from the basket, and he's going to get killed. Or you get Brunson switched on a big guy. He's going to get killed instead of working to get over the pick. But I won't go in the weeds too much like that. But to your point, yes, they do have a villain, and Atlanta is a genuine threat to the Knicks. They're good. They have a lot of talent.
Yeah, a quick little follow up here, Paul.
That's what they call it in the business.
Yeah,
there,
that's what they call it in the business. Staying with this Knicks series, what I want to hear what you think their adjustments should be coming into Game 3 here. Should they keep Cat out late in the fourth because of the defensive liability that he is?
No. I find a way to make him effective and find a way for the players around him to stay with their checks and not put Cat in mismatches because you're slow and lazy of getting through screens or you're just so used to switching. How can you keep an offensive weapon like that and a rebounding weapon like that on the bench in crunch time? Now, a criticism of Cat is that he will settle too often for the three as opposed to getting into the post, where when he actually gets his butt into the post, he can be a good back-to-the-basket player, but he likes to float outside and shoot the three, and in clutch situations, that might not be the best. But Robinson coming off the bench or them playing small ball, I don't think is a smart way to go. So I hope they find a way to keep Cat in the game because he's too much of a weapon to have to be able to put him on the bench at that time in the game when you need people who can put the ball in the basket.
Great job, Josh. Incredible. The insight, the caliber, the question, the phrasing. Top-notch, big guy. Paul Sir with us. One last one for you, Paul, from our text line from Adam. What is Paul Sir expecting from the Edmonton Stingers this year? Paul, we're starting to to that conversation as the Stingers get rolling here.
Well, the Stingers have made a couple of interesting signings lately with a couple of G League guys that are good, good players. They're not outstanding G League players, but they're very athletic, very explosive. I think they've brought back some of the pieces from last year, but there's still a lot of pieces to be announced, and they will be over the next while. Like they don't really have any big signed. They weren't able to keep either Sean East or Xavier Moon in Edmonton, which is really too bad. But hey, that's life in the big time, and so now they've got to continue to fill those holes in. And I'm sure Coach Baker will be making announcements as this roster gets ready for training camp in the next week and games get going, I think on May 9th. So it'll be exciting to have CEBL basketball back in Edmonton. And, they always put on a great show down at the Expo Center. And I think Edmonton basketball fans will have a lot of fun this year.
Odise Tony is the one guy they just signed, correct? And
Yes.
then the last one before that was Trey King.
Yep. And they're both good players. They're both, real athletic, kind of wing guard players. And like I said, they haven't announced any bigs yet, so that's going to be critical for them. They've got a lot of guards, and now they're adding some depth to their wings. They've got good leadership back in Nick Hornsby, who's back for another season. A couple, some good young Canadians. So, but the league's tough. So Stinger's going to have to be tough, and they're going to have to get bigger in order to be competitive because there's some good teams this year. There's some big signings that have taken place in some of the other franchises. So looking forward to when they make the announcement on the next signings for the Stingers.
Home opener Saturday, May the 9th against the Winnipeg Sea Bears.
Sea Bears with Xavier Moon. Now we'll see if Moon's there. He's been playing in Russia. So I don't know if his season will be over and he'll be back, but that's where Xavier signed. So that would be a very interesting and bittersweet homecoming, if I can put it that way, if Xavier is with the Sea Bears that opening night.
Paul, great insight. Thanks for all your contributions to the many shows here on Sports 1440. Really appreciate it, and have a great show. Hey, do you know who's coming on Hoop City right now yet, or
I do. I do. We've got Alan Horton, the play-by-play voice of the Minnesota Timberwolves, coming on. So we're going to have a great discussion. I have to pre-record with him tomorrow, so we'll have a great discussion after tonight's game. About how things are shaping up. So I'm real excited about that. And I'm going to, of course, my friend Ben Golliver, he'll be back on. He was just at the Lakers game the other night. Ben always, brings it big time with his insight and analysis. And then we got a couple of other local guests that we're going to be on for our Community Champions segment. So it's going to be a great show.
Plus, you got Josh Fenwick. What more do you want?
I was going to say he's batting fourth. He's in the cleanup spot. So he'll go for the fences as always.
He'd be in the ninth hole. Come on. He's in the ninth hole and he's playing right field.
Don't listen to him, Josh. Don't let
Thanks,
him
Paul.
affect your self-esteem.
Thanks, Paul. We'll chat to you probably next week. Take care, man.
Thanks, Kevin.
That's Paul Sir. You hear him weekly here on Hoop City every Saturday from 10 to 12 here on Sports 1440 AM radio with Josh Fenwick and the many guests. It's a great show. Keeps you up to date. Longest running show, basketball show in Canada. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440. Maybe we'll hear from Chris Knobloch, maybe Connor Murphy, but no Zach Hyman. We just can't find Zach in the system. But we'll also go in or out with the Duke here in the 9 o'clock hour. It's Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
At Booster Juice, doing good tastes really good too. From now until April 26th, every purchase of a Mood Booster Ball will help support the Community Booster Fund. So while you're enjoying a Mood Booster Ball made with caramel, marshmallows, and peanut butter, you're also supporting athletics, community, and educational initiatives across Canada. Let's fuel healthy communities together. For more information, please visit boosterjuice.com. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
At GS Construction, we're multitaskers. We've got lots of projects going on all around Edmonton and area. Different teams across the city working towards the same outcome. Installing today what will serve generations to come. It's a rewarding career and the work never stops. That's why GS Construction is always on the lookout for great people to join us. Right now, we're looking for experienced topmen, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. So if you want to feel valued, empowered, and engaged in your work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Divorce is never easy, but Fairway Divorce Solutions can help.
Their clear step-by-step process addressed all our issues, and we moved through the process quickly.
Fairway didn't take sides. They saved us money and heartache.
My ex, the kids, and I feel like we'll all be okay.
At Fairway Divorce Solutions, trained mediators and in-house lawyers will move your divorce process forward in a professional and efficient manner to achieve a fair resolution and separation agreement. Visit fairwaydivorce.com.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Why should you drive a Subaru? How about durability, style, and an excellent customer experience from the moment you step into the showroom? And how about accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power? But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
At Metal Supermarkets, they're all about value added. In addition to a warehouse bursting with steel, aluminum, all the good stuff, and cut fast, they offer a ton of value-added services. Metal bending, drilling, punching, notching, welding, and back hair waxing. Oh, sorry, I meant plasma cutting. Anybody seen my glasses? Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for... And value-added options, too, even delivery. Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
You're listening to Sports 1440 and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sports 24/7. We are Sports 1440.
Oh, all right. Welcome back to the big program. Rock Solid tune by Skin Yard, Duke. Still one of the funnier texts. That's from two years ago.
Linyard, Skinyard.
You guys don't even know how to pronounce his name. What's the matter with you guys? You know the one thing, Duke, and maybe it's because of the Olympics and the Americans and all that, but Freebird has probably had more play in the last, 6 months, 5 months, whatever you want to call it, than they had years and years ago. It's a song. Well, Duke, think about it. It's on that Budweiser commercial
Well, absolutely.
Right now,
But I think it really started its big comeback wave
with the juniors,
with the World Juniors,
okay,
and their success, and then that carried over into
Olympics.
I believe USA using it at the World Championships and the Olympics, and now it's just hey, the Americans can play it all they want. Like, people say they hate it now because of its association with the team and them winning. Well, what a banger of a track! I'll listen to that till the end of time. It's an unreal song.
Do you know what soundtrack from a movie? It's in a few, but the one that you see on the loop about 100 yards from
I was going to say, I assume if we were talking about Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, yeah. I think what's her name is on the ledge
Jenny?
Jenny thinking about jumping over, and that's
the Freebird solo.
Freebird song. I think we should hear from Chris Knobloch following the Oilers' loss last night. So the series tied to 1, and Knobloch's going to address the media here in about half an hour before the team departs for California. Perfect time to get out of our city with the garbage weather we're going to have for the next 3-4 days. But this is a series now. I would imagine, I would be shocked if the Oilers were thinking at all about taking this team lightly, because Anaheim's got some unbelievable players. They got a hell of a coach. Their goaltender's stopping pucks. They made some tweaks on the back end with Gudis being out, and they bring in Drew Hellison yesterday. Puck went in. I'm off Hellison on the first goal from Leon. But, Knobloch's got to make some adjustments here. Maybe we see a different first line. Maybe Ryan Nugent-Hopkins goes up to that first line, and they roll with Szymanski, with Matt Savoy and Roslovic. That was the line that caused the fourth goal, that scored the fourth goal. So anyway, last night after the game, here was the podium and Chris Knobloch.
Chris, what's your largest source of frustration about this game tonight?
Special teams. The fact that they outscored us 3 there. That's as good as you are 5-on-5, or as much as you can score. It's pretty tough to overcome 3 goals there. So I believe that's the story of the game tonight.
Are you satisfied with the 5-on-5 play, or do you feel you're not, connecting enough passes and getting the puck smoothly enough up the ice?
5-on-5, I believe we had 4 goals tonight. You score 4 even strength goals, that should be enough to win a hockey game. The other night before, I thought we scored quite a few the other night to win. So 5-on-5, I think we're generating enough.
With Connor and obviously leaving the game there, do you have any concern that this is something that might affect him moving forward in the series here?
I haven't got any updates, so I'm not sure. Obviously, we're hoping everything's fine, but I can't comment on that.
What have you seen from him through a couple of games? He talked after last game about, the power play entries and such, and maybe some of that being his play, but what are you seeing from him? It's rare he goes back to back like this.
Yeah, I thought game 1, there was obviously some problems, or just they did a really good job breaking up our power play, or our entries right at the blue line, and we weren't able to make the plays. Tonight, I don't think that was an issue. I thought we had many chances to score goals, not capitalizing. That happens. But I thought our power play was much better tonight than it was in game 1. But sometimes you're just not able to put the puck in the net.
Chris, 5-on-5, even at times on the power play, you have a lot of passes. I don't know if they're forcing them or just really good at disrupting them, but you seem to be missing a lot of passes, especially tonight. Why do you think that is?
Yeah. I guess you got to give them credit for getting above. The faster we can play, they're not in formation, we can try and beat that pressure. But Yeah, I'm not quite comment on exactly why it was breaking down tonight.
You mentioned earlier this morning that you remembered Szymanski, Roslovic, and Savoy as a line earlier in the year, and you liked them together, put them together when you switched up the lines a little bit, and obviously they were ordered with a huge goal. Is that a line you'd like to stick with moving forward?
Yeah, we're not sure. It's definitely a line that we're comfortable playing. They've played well in the past, and obviously tonight they scored a huge goal, and Savvy made a great back check to break up that play and counter on that. But yeah, we're not sure about when Dickinson comes back, and we do have some options.
Chris, do you feel at all that Connor's fighting the puck, and did that lead to the turnover for the shorthand goal?
Absolutely. I think he's putting a lot of pressure on himself. He wants a lot of obviously he wants the team to do well, and he's a leader, and usually when we have success, he's a big part of that. And there's stretches during the season that he hasn't been the best player. There's nights that he hasn't been outstanding. Doesn't happen very often. And, I'm certain that he's going to find his game.
It's Chris Knobloch following the game last night. And the last question and answer, really good on Connor McDavid. Again, he's been fighting the puck. You can see it. But, Anaheim's doing a hell of a job converging on him and making those tiny little stick checks on the blade, just enough to change the trajectory of his stick handling. And, it takes his skating out of sync with handling the puck. But to KK's point there, Chris Knobloch's point, when a guy wants something so badly, and Connor McDavid wants to win a Stanley Cup so badly, it's not even funny. You try to do a lot of things outside of what you would normally do. And maybe, even the very best players, they want the puck on their stick the entire time. That's what they're born. Like, there's very few guys like this that want to be the difference maker every single play of every game. That's Connor McDavid. But sometimes you play outside of all that, and you end up trying to do so much that it hurts you. And the fourth goal's a prime example of that. And even if you look at how when he passes the puck on the backhand blindly, he's given up on the play. Everyone did. Bouchard did. Everyone else on the ice for the Oilers gave up on the play. And if you see Connor look to the heavens after that backhand pass, and then all of a sudden, play's still going on here. And then it's the Killorn to Paling after the giveaway. That just says that, the frustration level is so high right now because Connor and the rest of this team want to win so badly. When things are going poorly, you see that frustration set in. And that's just the way it is. It's that simple. You can see that. And that play, as I said at the top of the show, it's a microcosm for how the game went. And frankly, you could say as how the series is going right now, tied at 1, heading to Anaheim. Man, oh man, it's a big night across the sporting world. Again, the NFL draft goes tonight. There's been so much. If you look at the NFL draft and where the mock drafts were going, nobody had Jeremiah Love at 3 weeks ago. Nobody. A lot of people were saying, is Jeremiah Love in the top 5? They'd go, no, too high for a running back, too high. But now so many whispers about him going at 3 to Arizona. We're going to find out tonight. So we'll talk about that as the morning goes on, and some crazy stuff going on in Major League Baseball with streaks and things getting snapped. Plus, we'll go in or out with the Duke. That's coming up right after the break. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
At Booster Juice, doing good tastes really good too. From now until April 26th, every purchase of a Mood Booster Ball will help support the Community Booster Fund. So while you're enjoying a Mood Booster Ball made with caramel, marshmallows, and peanut butter, you're also supporting athletics, community, and educational initiatives across Canada. Let's fuel healthy communities together. For more information, please visit boosterjuice.com. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
as we all try to figure out when winter will actually stop and spring will finally be here for the season, GS Construction moves ahead with their plans for the year. From planning and digging to laying out underground infrastructure, construction season is limited, so we make every day count. And that's why GS Construction counts on our team to get the job done right. Crews are getting back in action across the city, and we'd like you to join us. We're looking for experienced top men, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all sevens. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Jason Greger isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder with over 3 million raised for local charities.
And his Greger Foundation,
He's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Greger weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
Deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
Free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value for a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Greger for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Something's happening. Something big. The Service Big Share Contest is back, where just by saving money with Service Credit Union, you could win $1 million. From now until the end of April, the more money you save with us, the more chances you have to win. The Service Big Share Contest. Isn't it time to feel good about your money? The Service Big Share Contest ends April 30th, 2026. No purchase required. For information and rules, visit service.ca/win.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Back to the big program, 9:41 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440. Maybe I thought it was Friday and it's Playlist Friday, and someone requested the Forrest Gump soundtrack, Duke. I don't know, man.
No,
you know,
hey,
we're
people
talking about
want
Freebird
to request the rest of that soundtrack tomorrow. They're certainly welcome to play this Friday, but just laying out some good beats, good tracks today.
Yeah.
That's all. Just keeping it fresh.
What else? I mean, on that soundtrack, I mean, you can't. I mean, it's unbelievable. Because it runs over the course of decades.
I believe it is regarded as one of the best.
Is it, eh?
One of the best ever.
You know what's, to be honest with you, too, that's as I call it, not Robert, but that's a Bob Zemeckis film, correct? I think he's directed it, no?
That's what Josh says.
Yeah, Bob Zemeckis. I like the very beginning with the piano and whatever else with the feather, floating. It's floating in midair, Duke, and then finally lands basically on his shoe, right?
Right.
There you go, Duke. It just brings a tear.
Now I feel like after the show today, I feel like I might have to go over to Forest to Bubba Gump's and
have a lunch.
Watch the film. No, I'll just sit at the bar and watch the movie.
Surprised SKS doesn't want to have a pre-lunch over there. The buffet.
The double pre-lunch.
Yeah. I wondered maybe if they had a buffet over at Bubba Gump's, would we go there? All that.
I'd certainly be
the
interested.
pool boys and the shrimp and everything else. I'd be interested. Is that something you might be interested in, Duke?
Mm-hmm. I'd be interested.
Yeah. Time now for Are You In or Out? Brought to you by Pro Solutions. If you need fast air conditioning service, Pro Solutions offers expert repairs, tune-ups, and installs with flexible financing. Book your appointment now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or you out? In or out of what? No time for questions, just action. In or out? Well, then I'm out. I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, Duke. Letterbuck.
Last night from Rogers Place, the Edmonton Oilers losing 6-4 at the hands of the Ducks. That first round series now tied at 1 game apiece. It will shift to Anaheim. Game 3 tomorrow night in SoCal. Connor McDavid held off the score sheet for a second straight game, and it's weird because I think we're all in agreement. It's just so irregular, rare to see him struggle and frustration set in the way we've seen it here over the course of the first 2 games of the series. But last night, I thought he was worse than he was in game 1. And to be very blunt, I thought it was the worst playoff game we have seen him play as an Edmonton Oiler.
God, it's so hard, when you're criticizing this guy because he's done so much. Very best. I mean, he's unbelievable. He's the best player in the game. Like I said, he's the best player that we've seen talent-wise to ever play. I mean, you can talk about Gretzky and everything like that, and they're two different players. Like there are few players he's the only guy that doesn't lose speed when he's got the puck on his stick.
Yeah.
Most guys, it's like chewing gum and walking at the same time. They just can't do it. He can do it. I'm going to go out on this, Duke, only because of the enormity of it. And I'm going to go back to last year's Stanley Cup final, and it was the deciding game. It was the 5-1 victory. The score was, it wasn't a 5-1 game because it was the empty netters and things like that. But I'm going to go back because it was the biggest goal of the series, because it was basically the deciding goal, and it swayed the game, and it didn't enable the Oilers to get back and bring back the series to game number 7. Because I really think the second goal, when Matthew Tkachuk scored that goal coming off the bench, Connor McDavid he's in perfect position. And again, it's it's the timing of the goal. It's late in the first period, but he goes to the puck. He gets mesmerized by the puck, and it's Luosterainen or Lundell, one of them. And basically, they just back pass it to Matthew Tkachuk, who's coming off the bench. And that's the goal that killed the Oilers in that game and won the series for Florida. So I'm going to go that game because it was a bigger moment. This is just game 2 here.
Yes.
So that's why I'm going to go. I'm out, and I'm going to say that was it. That was the game for me.
And a very valid, and I think that you can look at that and the numbers for McDavid. If you go back to last year's final, and then the first 2 games of the series, they're not very flattering. Now, the expectation is that a player of this ilk, of this caliber, does not, you can't keep a good man down, to borrow a phrase, and you have to. And I think I'll absolutely include myself. You kind of expected that to happen last night, right after game 1. You say, oh boy, he's not going to be happy with the way he played. As we heard Chris Knobloch say, he puts a ton of pressure on himself to perform and have an impact on the team's success. But it's so weird to say about a player that is as good as he is. But is there a point, Kevin, where like you're watching it and you say he is trying to do a little bit too much?
That's what we were saying, and that's what even Chris Knobloch said a little bit, and that's where, again, when you're getting checked so closely. Now it's about sucking the opposition in to open up space for your line mates, or it's about deferring to your line mates or dumping it in and using your speed. It's not the end of the world to have a dump in every once in a while. So, I mean, there's ways around it, and there's a lot of ways that he's going to get back on track, and it would blow me away if he doesn't have a whale of a game tomorrow night.
Yes, we'll
plus the ankle here too, Duke.
That absolutely is a factor, and it's to me, it's kind of hard to tell from a couple 100 feet up in the air when whether you're in the press box or I'm up in the 200 level watching the game, in saying, did it impact him? Did you, once he came back from that and we heard his own comments say, we got just rolled up a little bit, well, call it a stinger or whatever, but he was fine. Was there a noticeable difference in him after the injury?
For me, it was in traffic.
Okay.
He didn't press into traffic, and maybe because there's a concern that you might tweak something a bit more.
And
so to me, that was it. When you watched his cross cuts and things like that, and maybe the explosiveness wasn't there, but when you watched his cross cuts, like say breaking out of the Oilers' end, there wasn't anything where it looked that bad. But like I said, I don't think he was at the level that he wanted to be for sure after that little incident.
And maybe we'll get a little bit of an update here after Chris Knobloch's avail this morning before they jet off to Anaheim. Strong start in game number 1 for the Oilers' fourth line that at the time was composed of Adam Henrique, Colton Dach, and Trent Frederick. The physicality that they brought helps get the crowd into the game, makes use of their time on ice in a positive manner. But even as game 1 progressed and into last night, I thought that the fourth line, now replaced by or Adam Henrique being replaced, and we saw a few different combinations once the game progressed and they had to make more adjustments. I did not think that they were particularly consequential in the game, really, in any fashion. The physicality was down last night, noticeably so, especially to open it up compared to game number 1. And I think regardless who's playing on the fourth line, we talk so much about McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has been a ghost in this series so far. There's a lot to be desired for several players. But when you see what Anaheim's fourth line is doing and how effective they are around 200 feet of ice, whoever's playing on the Oilers' fourth line, they need to find a way to impact the game and make a difference in some capacity or another.
It's a hard question to answer, Duke, because for so long here, we've been talking about Dach and Frederick being the key parts of the fourth line and it didn't matter who's at center with him, whether it could have been Henrique, it could have been Szymanski. When those three were together, or two were together with whatever centerman, they were a force and they played off each other. And I'm talking about Frederick and I'm talking about Dach together. So last night, obviously, they were separated because of the injury to Dickinson. So if Dickinson comes back, it's such a critical part of that third line. It'll be interesting to see, again, Duke, if Szymanski and Savoy and Roslovic stay together. Well, now maybe you throw, Frederick and Dach together now again back on the fourth line. So maybe there's an opportunity there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Szymanski be with Savoy and Roslovic on a third line. Nugent-Hopkins go up to play with McDavid and Hyman. And this is only if Dickinson can't go. And then you have Lazar between Frederick and Dach.
Yeah.
So
it's just they were such a big talking point coming in, and the Bash brothers, and since the reunion of them, and at the time it was Szymanski between them, that they did find a way to impact the game. Now playoffs are different, and we know that when push comes to shove, Chris Knobloch does not lean on his depth players very much. Certainly not to the extent that we've seen Joel Quenneville do it, leading or trailing in the game. And we talked about with Frank, John Cooper putting Scott Sabrin out late in the game. That a little head scratching at times. But yeah, it's you always say this, Kevin, in the minutes you have, regardless of how many, you need to find a way to touch the game.
Especially at this time.
At this time of year where the playoffs, we talk about how physical it is and things are dialed up. That should be their bread and butter. And I just did not. They were essentially invisible to me last night. And it's, call me an idiot. They're fourth liners. That's fine. But has the Ducks line fourth line been invisible? No. They've been huge. You said it. You think that they're maybe the biggest talking point of this series from an Anaheim perspective, and it's tough to disagree with you on that statement.
And that's maybe why Dach and Frederick need to be together. And if it's going to be Lazar in there, and they move things around, and maybe Nugent-Hopkins gets going playing with McDavid and Hyman.
I definitely think, and really regardless of availability, Dickinson, of course, the most pressing one. We'll see some different combinations for tomorrow night.
If Dickinson's in, then you go back to where it was. I think I'm fine with that, right? Leave Savoy and McDavid.
You really?
And then because then you've got Dickinson, right? You've got Dickinson back. You've got Dickinson with Nugent-Hopkins and Roslovic. I'm fine with that because then Szymanski is going to be centering Dach and Frederick.
All right. All right, we'll see how things shake out. Probably at
All depends on
tomorrow's.
Dickinson's availability.
Absolutely. Jumping over to the NFL, the draft will go tonight, round 1 of it anyway, before the rest takes place over the course of the weekend. Fernando Mendoza, consensus, top pick, first name expected off the board as the premier quarterback available. Now, is he the best player in the draft? A little bit less certainty on that front, but we know how needy teams are for a starting QB across the NFL. And as a result, I do think that Ty Simpson will be off the board as a first-round pick by the time tonight's proceedings are concluded.
I'm going to go in, and I think a trade's going to happen, and someone's going to be moving up from the second round. Or, again, I don't know why, again, with Pittsburgh, 21's too high for Simpson.
Yes, I absolutely agree.
If Pittsburgh wanted to recoup a little more draft currency and drop down to, somewhere later in the draft, and someone else wanted to get into that 21 hole, maybe that's an opportunity. Maybe it's Arizona again. And again, if Arizona wants to make this splash with Love at 3 and then go, now, we'll slide back in at the tail end of round 1, maybe 30, whatever it is, and slide in and take Simpson, that changes their outlook of how they build their franchise moving forward.
So I guess I'll just follow it up and ask, if you had to, I'm putting you on the spot, pick the team that will make the move back in, or pick them where they're at, whatever may happen, that will have Ty Simpson. You think it's Arizona?
Yeah, I think it's Arizona.
That would have been my choice as well, which kind of spills into my next question. Is we've already seen a trade here in the last week involving a top 10 pick with the Giants, sending Dexter Lawrence to Cincinnati for number 10 overall. And tonight, I think we'll see plenty of trades, lots of shuffling. We always do, even if it's just up or down a pick or two. But I think we'll see another change inside the top 10 picks via trade as well.
Well, it's a good point, Duke.
And if I'm being honest with you, Kevin, I think it is Arizona trading back out of 3. And I think that this Jeremiah Love stuff
is a smoke screen.
I think it makes no sense.
I get you.
It makes 0 sense for them to take Jeremiah Love at 3rd overall.
Listen, I'm all with you, but why is there so much talk about it?
They want it out there. They want someone to up their price to move up and get it, to take the pick.
So you're saying because you think Tennessee is the right fit for Love at 4, correct? Is that what you're saying?
I think if he's there, Tennessee will definitely take him. Yeah. And as a result, if there's another team that wants a impact rookie, which is what Love profiles out as, kind of in that Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, maybe a step behind those guys, but that level of an impact on a good team, somebody will jump up to try and skip Tennessee in the queue to get him on the roster. And who is that team that, like, if we're talking about, the Simpson stuff and we can logically piece a few teams that would be interested, I don't know, but I think that this is intentional by Arizona to try and make something happen here.
That's a great plot here to see tonight.
I'm excited because in a draft, and we talked about this a little earlier in the week, in a draft where the quarterback class is so weak and there's no discourse about it, right? Like we can talk ourselves into the Simpson stuff, but it's all kind of like we're just trying to make things happen. This to me is the storyline of tonight.
Saw Jay Glazer say, I can tell you that there's a big move coming or whatever, but I can't tell you until they're on the clock because I promised. Did you see that, Duke?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, if you find that, you'll go, okay, well, that's great, Jay. Thank you very much. You know what? We had Russell Brown on and even Austin Mock earlier in the week, Duke. Both of them said they feel that would happen more towards the back end of the draft here, as far as trades moving up and down.
And that's usually what we see, right? Teams getting back in at the end of the first round to get somebody that they like that maybe they don't think will still be there by the time they circle back on day 2. And I get that. I absolutely believe we'll see that. But I'm thinking there might be a little bit of a splash play here.
I got a question for you, Duke.
Okay.
Now, is there a player / team, because it's obviously both, that there is a draft day? Is there a Vontae Mack no matter what here? Like, is there a Vontae Mack no matter what, and let's call it in the top 10, because once you get past that, there's different things, right, that you have to kind of look at. But say in the top 10, is it a Caleb Downs for the Giants? Is that the guy that's matter what?
I think it is. Okay. I think Caleb Downs is that player. And if I had to pick a team, the Giants seem the most logical.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the 10th pick, maybe there they grab the receiver that they seem to want. And whether it's Carnell Tate still on the board or if they go for Jordan Tyson instead, we'll see how it plays out on availability. But I just keep falling back on this notion that so many of the scouts you hear talk and the insiders and the draft analysts that Caleb Downs is the best player in this draft.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of nobody wants to spend a top 5 pick on a safety.
Yeah.
And that's all fine. But in a year where it's a weak draft overall, take the best player available.
So maybe they walk in and it's in the pocket, right?
Yeah.
Caleb Downs, no matter
No
what. dude.
matter
no
what.
matter what.
You gonna watch draft day this afternoon, Kev? Get geared up or what? Connor was saying we might get it on the TVs here in the studio during Fantasy Frenzy, just to get us fired up because we're doing our final mock draft today, and Declan's hopefully going to join us as well for that.
Don't know why, but whenever that movie's on, I'll watch it. You know, even if there's commercials.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if it's on that
it's
AMC
one of those
channel,
movies. It's like right up there with movies like Shawshank. Like
Yeah,
you'll always watch it when it's on.
I thought we might, what if they would have thrown a little more Costner and Garner, like in the storage room there, something a little, hey, hey, come on now. And then that kid with the glasses knocking on the door.
Right.
Hey,
Like,
come on, let's go.
Excuse me, sir.
Come on.
Yeah. Very much looking forward to it though. Kevin, I know you don't really have a team,
No,
but
I don't. Well-
hypothetically pick one. If it's the Lions, if it's the Rams, if it's the Eagles, I don't know. Just make one up. Is there a player that for your favorite team you really have circled? Like, I want them to get this guy.
I don't really do.
I know.
I've never been that way. And people, MTR's all over for. I was going to say about when we're talking about quarterback situation and the possibility of trading up for, say, an Arizona or whatever to try to get maybe Ty Simpson. I was almost going to throw. Well, maybe he goes at 27 to the Niners, right? Because they need a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll see. Should be good as per usual with all the storylines that circle around. Finally, today is movie theater day. Kevin and I checked. Last year we had this topic as well, and we talked about snacks in the movie theater. So we'll steer away from that, even though it is Thursday, and we normally like to keep the food topics even when Laddie isn't here. But let's just look at what is a laundry list of big ticket movies all expected to come out this year. I think there's already been a few, maybe not necessarily the biggest ones early in the going, but tomorrow, to my understanding, the part 1 of the Michael Jackson biopic will be out here over the weekend. But let's just run down some of these other ones that are coming out this year, Kevin. So Devil Wears Prada, number 2. I know you're going to be big in on that one.
Who's that? That's Glenn Close?
No, it's Meryl Streep.
Oh, Meryl Streep.
And Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, Stanley Tucci. And then we got Supergirl with Millie Alcock. We got the new Spider-Man, Tom Holland. Another Avengers movie coming out later this year. Dune, Part 3. The Magician's Nephew. Hunger Games.
Frozen 3.
Really?
Apparently.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that one, but I've actually never seen any of the Frozen movies.
No, me neither.
Well,
you know what, Duke? I just punched up best movies coming out, and you know what's like 7 on the list? I didn't know there was another one. It's Fokker-in-Law.
I seen the trailer for this earlier this week. It's going to be Ariana Grande as the girlfriend, fiance of the son of Ben Stiller.
Okay.
So it's De Niro's grandson, I guess. Right? I watched the trailer. It actually looks pretty funny.
Yeah.
I think I will watch this. In theaters, maybe not, but I will watch it. But anyway, back to the actual question at hand. That is a good pull, though, Kev. The most hype movie, and I think the one that if you're picking one to go see in theaters this year, I think it has to be The Odyssey. Christopher Nolan film. The cast is absolutely bonkers good, star-studded. Greek mythology tie-in, Odysseus' journey back from Troy. I think this is number 1 on the list, no doubt about it.
Matt Damon's in it.
He plays Odysseus.
Okay, I'm just checking the Anne Hathaway.
I believe she is his wife back home in Ithaca.
Charlize Theron. She in it?
Yep. Wow. Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Zendaya, many more.
Comes out July 17th, Duke.
I'm pumped, Kev. I'll probably go watch it right here in the mall that has it all. And I don't know if this is going to be one of those Christopher Nolan films that is in the, was it 70 mil? Like Oppenheimer was, where it says you got to see it in this specific cut to get the full experience.
Right, yeah, I get you.
And so that, like, I went and saw Oppenheimer in that I came here to the mall to do it, drove all the way from Fort Saskatchewan. And if this is the case with this movie, I don't know if it is, I will do the same. Give it its full value. Josh thumbs up says that is the case, so I'm pumped.
I don't know.
And I love Greek mythology, so that's just a
I know
bonus.
you do. When was this shot, Duke?
Like
You
for
know?
the past 4 years.
It's just reading to prepare for the role. Damon underwent an extensive training regimen, strict diet.
He's jacked, Kev. He's jacked.
He's
up
lean
in
but
this movie.
strong. No longer consuming gluten. Went down to 167 pounds. We're talking like Goodwill Hunting weight here.
That's a long time ago.
And
That's a
he-
much
he-
younger Matt Damon.
He also grew a full beard for a year. Well, he did that in The Martian too. No, I'm just kidding. I think that was a fake beard in The Martian, was it not? Duke, I don't remember the budget, Duke, $250 million.
Is that a lot?
Well, 250 million. I mean, I saw a thing about his buddy Ben Affleck saying that when you do a movie, it costs 20, like it's the minimum's 25 mil. You need 25 mil to basically promote it, and then another 25. So you're 75 million in the hole right off the bat. That's why people aren't doing movies anymore. It's just Netflix and all that stuff.
Well, how about this one? So the new Avengers movie that's going to be coming out, I think, in December.
Mm-hmm.
This is just via quick Google search. Production budget of $400 million and an additional $300+ million for marketing, pushing, etc. So a total investment of over $700
Well, that's
million.
that's just crazy, Duke.
Yeah, but when these movies, and a lot of the Marvel products in the past couple of years have not been getting the same fanfare that the original Avengers cast and run did. I haven't watched a lot of the more recent films, but this movie is pretty hyped up, and I have to think they'll be printing the money to once it comes out.
So you think that this is going to be like the biggest movie since what? Are you saying Oppenheimer or something?
Which one?
Like Odysseus.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think it will be.
Well, I'm excited for
Christopher
it.
Nolan just doesn't miss, Kevin. And I'm far from a cinephile. Maybe we get someone like Josh to weigh in here. He's a self-proclaimed cinephile.
July 17th, Duke.
As is Donovan Paulson. But yeah, I think
So,
I think this movie
Are
is.
you going to go to a matinee here?
I think so. Probably right after the show.
Why would
That's what I did to go see the Nazi movie last fall. Nuremberg. I went and watched the matinee. I was like one of 10 people in the theater, and it was like the second day it came out.
Well, I'm still going to go with the Fockers guys.
You're gonna go see that in theaters.
No, I wouldn't.
Would you go see anything in theaters at this
I
point in your
don't
life?
remember the last time I went to I think I went with my mom. She came into town and we went to the Tellus World of Science for something. Does that count? No. Well, we'll see what happens in July, Duke. That's a long ways away.
Good point.
So
Think
maybe
you'll
I'll
be-
go to the Odyssey.
Yeah, Kev, let's go together. I can tell you everything that's happening.
Do you want to share popcorn too, or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Are you a sprinkle the M&Ms in the popcorn guy?
No.
No, good. Okay, I'm not
Two
in on that
sodas
either.
and a large popcorn, please. Or
No,
would it be?
large is small.
Yes.
Large jump. No.
Yeah.
Small is medium is large, and large is jumbo.
You get the tickets, Duke. I'll get the popcorn.
All right.
Yeah, that was Elaine and George, right? Well, just give me the 20 right now.
Yeah.
That's In or Out, brought to you by Pro Solutions. Check them out at prosolutionsinc.ca. You can't get fast or better AC service than Pro Solutions. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the draft. I got to mention a few things that have been happening in Major League Baseball. Obviously, we'll talk a little more hockey, and we've got AJ Jakovic coming up at 10:20. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fusion Promo Marketing. Expand your brand, high quality promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Get noticed at fusionpromomarketing.ca. That's Fusion with a Z. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Three-game slate in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight, starting with the Sabres in Boston against the Bruins. That series tied at 1 game apiece. Puck drop just after 5 o'clock. Hurricanes take their 2-0 series lead to our nation's capital up against the Senators. And the nightcap, LA Kings at home, trailing the Avalanche 2-0. Puck drop there coming just after 8 o'clock. IIHF U18 World Championships. Early this morning, Canada defeated Latvia 6-0 to move to 1-1 on the tournament. Swedes and Czechia currently tied at 1 in Group B play. In the association tonight, Toronto Raptors look to get back on track. They're at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers for game number 3. They're down in the series 2-0. The Raptors are. Tip-off scheduled for 6 o'clock from Scotiabank Arena. Knicks are in Atlanta. That series tied at 1. And Denver up against Minnesota, taking on the Timberwolves at 7:30. That series also tied at 1. In the majors today, a little bit of a lighter slate with several teams in at transit. Cubbies hosting the Phillies, Milwaukee's in Detroit. Dodgers take on the Giants, Boston hosting the Yankees, and the Mets up against the Minnesota Twins. Finally, from Pittsburgh tonight, round 1 of the NFL draft getting underway. Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza, consensus choice to go first overall to the Las Vegas Raiders. Coming up in hour 4 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll hear today's edition of Cam and Eggs and be joined by AJ Jackbeck from TSN 1200 in Ottawa covering the Senators. I'm Brendan Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, the Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
A huge thank you for making Sports 1440 the most listened to sports radio station in Edmonton. From Gregor to Karius to Lowtide, we've got in-depth analysis on all your favorite sports. We are Sports 1440.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, excavators, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, packers, road reclaimers, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers, and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring Japa Equipment Rentals realignment with 5 2022 to 2020 XCMG 250U, 300U, 360U, and 490U excavators. Search Japa at maauctions.com.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
I'm 10-11 in Edmonton. I just asked the Duke because I went to see the Glenn Hall documentary, Mr. Goalie, a couple weeks ago at the Garneau. Does that count as a movie that you've gone to see in the theater? And Duke and Fenny both said yes. Fenny goes, no. He says it's a documentary, doesn't count. You know, the funny thing of it was Jim Matheson, long time. You know, Jim's been on the beat for 50 years and then some. I sent him a text. He was in the front. He was in a row in front of me, and I sent him a text, and I said, "Did you see Glenn Hall play when he was with the Edmonton Flyers?" And I don't think he caught it right away, but you know that was in 1951, so I don't think. Yeah. Anyway, Matty was kind of giving me that stink eye. Anyway, saw Cam Tate again last night. He was fired up. I don't think he was fired up by the end of the game, but here's another edition of Cam and Eggs.
Cam and Eggs. Order number 14. I do not know how to fix a broken hockey team. I will never claim to hold the answers, but I know a heavy room when I see one. I felt it yesterday morning. We often use a laugh to hide what hurts, a joke to cover up the cracks. It masks the uncomfortable truth, the truth we simply do not want to face. The Edmonton Oilers are lost right now. I sat outside the dressing room before the morning skate. The players filed out toward the ice. Connor McDavid walked my way. We usually share a quick hello. I said there he is. He looked straight ahead. No nod, no reply. Total silence. Then I offered, "Hi, Connor." He just kept walking. I would never share a small moment like that if it did not carry weight, but it does. It tells a story of a team tangled in its own expectations. Wednesday night gave us a 6-4 loss against Anaheim. The greatest player in the world stayed off the score sheet. Again. He made mistakes. He forced the play. A blind backhand pass. A shorthanded goal for the other side. A sudden, quiet rink. You could see the weight of the jersey. Holding the stick too tight. Thinking too much. Trying too hard. McDavid had 26 shifts, nearly 25 minutes of ice time, 3 shots on goal. The effort was there. The rhythm was gone. The team didn't practice today. I find that choice hard to read. No drills, no video sessions, 0 time to fix the leaks. They will board their afternoon charter down 2 games to nothing. They let a late lead slip away in Game 1. They gave up 9 goals over 6 periods of hockey. Things fell apart. The defense broke down. The power play vanished. Anaheim. Millions of people travel there every year to find joy, to visit theme parks, to escape. The Oilers are looking for an escape of their own, because right now, there is no joy in their game. They have lost their edge. They have lost their smile. They have lost their way. But playoff hockey is a long road. The game demands resilience. The ice always offers a clean slate. They must find their footing. They must find their rhythm. They must find their way back. I hope they remember the quiet lesson this old game teaches us all. When the pressure builds and the bounces go the wrong way, you do not hide. You face the cold air. You keep pushing forward. The big question, is this version of the Edmonton Oilers capable of doing just that? And that's today's poll question on X. Do you think the Oilers will bounce back in Game 3? We will discuss the results later today on the 2-Minute Warning with Jason Greger. Please go to my Twitter handle, Cam Tate on X, and vote. Cam and Eggs. This is Cam Tate, Sports 1440.
Thanks, Tater. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be pressure on this team. There was pressure to start this series. They're just like Vegas right now, and Anaheim is just like Utah. Both these series, they're almost mirror images of each other. You've got the teams that have gone to the Cup finals. You've got team that has won the Stanley Cup. You've got more veteran players on both teams. And then you've got teams that are just coming to this dance for the first time, and you're going, they're opening the door and they're busting it down because they don't know what the hell it's all about yet. There'll be a time down the road, 3-4 years in Anaheim, the players are going to go, man, I can't even remember when we were in that series with Edmonton. It was like, we're just freewheeling, man, here. And that's the way it is. And that's how Utah's playing right now. Same thing in both these series. Don't underestimate your opponent. Don't get caught up in looking at these younger guys that are flying around, and set your own tone. Initiate. Don't react. Oilers do that, they'll be just fine here. When we come back, AJ Jakovic, TSN 1200 in Ottawa. We'll preview the Carolina-Ottawa Game 3. Probably talk a little Red Blacks, too, with the play-by-play man. That's straight ahead. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Mr. Rooter sees a UFO.
Mr. Rooter says 1 plunge, 2. What's this? A UFO? An unidentified floating object. It's beginning to glow and levitate.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. You have freed us from the gravity of the white hole. Humanity will be spared.
Wow! People aren't going to believe this when I put it in our new commercial.
If you want to believe in a plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
It's playoff time, and we've got a lot to talk about. This is Andrew Walker on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. Tune in after every Edmonton playoff game for the Legacy Heating and Cooling postgame show. Visit the experts at legacyheating.ca.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Spring is here, and your lawn knows it. Get the professional grade cut your home deserves with Toro. The Lawnmower Hospital has the right Toro for the job, from the residential Toro Super Recycler to the high-performance zero-turn tractor for those larger properties. Shop now for exclusive spring discounts or 0% financing for 36 months on select units. Beat the rush and get your Toro in for service today. Visit lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, excavators, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, packers, road reclaimers, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Hey there, it's Brandon Douglas from Sports 1440. If you're tired of slow, unreliable internet connections like I am, check out Starlink. It's fast, reliable, even in bad weather, and even works for 4K streaming for movie nights, online gaming, and more. Growing up on the farm in the sticks of Central Alberta, we tried everything to get reliable internet, but we're always left with buffering video and half-loaded websites. There's nothing worse than losing your connection while streaming the big game. I'm getting mine set up soon and can't wait. If you're ready for better internet, order online in 2 minutes at starlink.com/radio or call 1-800-GO-STARLINK.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring Japa Equipment Rentals realignment with 5 2022 to 2020 XCMG 250U, 300U, 360U, and 490U excavators. Search Japa at maauctions.com.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Welcome back to the big program, 1020 in Edmonton, and time now for the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where you can land a 2026 Jeep Compass 4x4 for $36,900. Yep, $36,900. The features include the 8.4-inch touchscreen, active lane management, the Apple CarPlay, remote keyless illuminated entry, and the rear backup camera, the alarm, and much, much more. We've got 27 in stock at staldbertdodge.com as we welcome back AJ Jakubik from TSN 1200 in Ottawa. Morning, AJ. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 as usual. Really appreciate it, big guy.
Yeah, always great to be with you, Kevin. Looking for it's a big day here in the national capital because it's not only game 3. I'm not even attending game 3 tonight. Unfortunate timing. I'm going to be at Akeem Messidor's NFL draft party. He's supposed to be the first ever Ottawa kid to go in the first round. So expected to go kind of between 15 and 22. Ottawa's a real hotbed for NFL talent in recent years. Neville Gallimore, Jesse Luketa, Jonathan Sutherland, Luigi Villain, who are both coming back up to the CFL. Eli Anku, who plays for the Bills. So, yeah, it's been fun following them. But you know, Messidor, he was a dominant player for the Miami Hurricanes, and along with Ruben Bain, almost found a way to slip up Fernando and Mendoza in the national championship game against Indiana. So we'll see where he lands tonight. But massive day in the capital.
Well, where's this party, and where do you think he's going to go?
Party's at Lansdowne, so a restaurant just outside where the Ottawa Redblacks and 67s and other teams of that ilk play. And where do I think he's going to go? As early, like based on the mock drafts, as early as 15 to Tampa Bay. And then, could go 20 to the Cowboys, could go 22 to the Chargers. I mean, the Bills are a possibility if he slips into the mid to late 20s. But there's a number. I don't think he slips to the second round, but it feels like he's going somewhere like mid to late first.
Wow, it's going to be exciting. So, what are you doing at this party? Are you like hosting it, or what are you doing?
I'm just watching.
Oh, you're just watching.
I'm just there for the free meal, Kevin.
That's not surprising, eh? Just a typical media hack going for the free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, I mean, that's going to be an exciting night for sure then. But, I mean, obviously a lot of eyeballs will be in Canada for game 3. What do you think that the Senators have to do after watching games 1 and 2 to get back in this series with the Canes here, AJ?
More of what we saw late in game 2. Like, I think like last year, it took them a while to get into this series, not for lack of, try or anything like that, but, the pace and intensity of playoff hockey is at a different level. And I think they found their way into the series last year against the Toronto Maple Leafs and then ran out of time a little bit, down 3-0, got it to game 6, tied it up. Felt like if they won that game, they might have pulled the reverse sweep in Toronto with the pressure that would have been on the Leafs. But too little, too late. And then this year, I feel like Carolina's different level than what we saw last year from Toronto. Like, honestly, having watched all 8 series so far, and there's some other, I'm not saying Carolina's the best team in the league, but I am saying that I think based on the playoffs so far, they're playing at the highest level right now because Colorado's been in cruise control for about 3 months, and now they're playing the Kings, and I think dragging them down to their level a little bit. So Carolina's playing as good. Like, I've watched a lot of their games over the last 7 years, and this is as good and certainly as physical as I've seen them play ever in the playoffs. I feel like it's a team that's really learned a lot from losing to Florida, in particular last year when they got pushed around, and they showed early in game 1 that, this was going to be different from Jordan Stahl's fight with Brady Tkachuk to, the first 10 minutes of that game. They didn't have a shot on goal, but they weren't looking for any. They were just looking to hammer guys in the offensive zone. So I think it's taken Ottawa a while to get into the pace of this series as well. They're better in game 2, especially in the back half of game 2, third period, overtime, and whatever. And now, how do you score some goals?
Yes.
They had a ton of opportunities in game 2, but Freddie Anderson was good. He was also lucky, 5 posts and crossbars. There's the puck put off the line by Logan Stankoven, who's been the best player in the series for me, and just a little bit unlucky. So I think we'll see some adjustments. Tyler Cleven's going to be in tonight. Cameron Crotty's back in. He played 6 games. He's a local guy that was really good down the stretch when they needed it with the injuries that piled up on the blue line. So we'll see some changes tonight. But in the end, the big boys have to lead the way. Starts with Tim Stützle, Brady Tkachuk, and that group just creating more offense and finishing their chances as well.
Yeah, that's the big question here, isn't it, AJ? How do you generate more offense? And we know what kind of style that Rod Brindamore's teams always play in Carolina. It's the suffocating, it's a man-on-man and always someone in your hip pocket. How do they break away from that, the Senators, and generate a little bit more, pucks towards the net where, maybe something can go in here and give them a little bit of a jump and a jump start, maybe a lead and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, that would be huge, especially the one thing, like Ottawa's known, like it's not a very loud building in the regular season, but I can tell you it's got a great atmosphere in the playoffs. It was sensational last year against the Leafs. I think it's going to be the same tonight. So take advantage of that. I think, beat them at their own game. I think they're both similar in the sense that, the strengths, it's not pretty, but a lot of it stems from how do you do in the neutral zone. And Carolina owned it in game 1 and game 2. Again, Ottawa, I think, found their way, some adjustments and started to at least even up that matchup. So if you win that battle in the neutral zone or at least saw it off, it's going to lead to less zone time for your own team, more time in their zone, more opportunities to finish checks, and yeah, just more opportunities to get pucks on Freddie Anderson, where again he looked a little bit shakier in game 2.
Tell us a little bit more about Cameron Crotty, who, as you said, is going to draw in today, AJ.
Yeah, so late bloomer, ended up going the NCAA route, went to a good school at Boston U. He's a teammate of Brady Tkachuk there. I mean, it's interesting. He had 2 different organizations. I don't know how many NHL players have played their first 3 NHL games on 3 teams, but that was Crotty, Arizona, Minnesota, and Ottawa. They brought him in for depth, and certainly leadership in the American Hockey League. He was captain of the Iowa Wild when he was playing in Minnesota's organization. So 26 years old, already pretty good leadership skills, but just steady Eddie. Doesn't seem to get phased. We've seen 6 games of him, and picked up a point and has been a real positive player. Like you kind of thought at that point. I don't know if you remember that 06 Eastern Conference final opposite, of course, the Edmonton Oilers making the run, but Buffalo, they lost all those defensemen. Brian Campbell was playing ridiculous numbers, and it was Jeff Janik. I had to look it up. It was Doug Janik, Jeff Gilson, Nathan Page, who played in Moose Jaw. Like, they had all these guys playing down the stretch that you're kind of like, where did this guy come from? Other than Page, for me, like, watching the Western Hockey League. And they ended up falling in game 7, and of course Carolina met Edmonton that year in the final, and that was the Sens down the stretch. I mean, they just kept losing bodies, from Nick Jensen to Thomas Chabot to Jake Sanderson to Tyler Clevin, and all of a sudden they're relying on guys like Lassie Thompson and Cam Crotty, Carter Yakimchuk, Jorian Donovan. I mean, they had a bunch of guys make their NHL debuts. And Crotty was really steady. I mean, you kind of thought, okay, you're going to get 5, 6, 10 minutes out of him. He was good for 13 to 16 minutes. So I think he'll help on that third pair. I like the decision. Like, to me, Yakimchuk's a guy, like, he reminds me a little bit at the same age, because I saw Evan Bouchard play in London as a 19-year-old. And Evan took a year and a half of full games of the American Hockey League before he made his NHL debut. And Steve Stais obviously would have known that trajectory from his time with the Oilers, and I think that was the plan for Yakimchuk as well, at least have a full year in the American Hockey League, and eventually they had to call him up as well, and he looked really good. Offensively, had a couple of points in his first game, and the big concern with him is, okay, how is he defensively? He was second last, plus minus, can be a flawed stat, but still can be telling as well. Second last in the AHL, minus 30 something this year in the AHL. So some growing pains in the American Hockey League, but looked like one of those guys almost better in the NHL than he was in the AHL. You see some of those guys, and Yakimchuk certainly looked like that. So I do think it's the right decision to go kind of a little bit more safe on the back end with Crotty tonight. And look, if you need something more offensively, maybe you go to Yakimchuk later in the series. But Crotty's been steady, and getting Tyler Clevin back is huge as well, because he was massive last year in that series against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Noticeable in terms of, there's some guys that just are made for playoff hockey, and he was always billed as a physical guy. I don't think we saw a ton of that last year in the regular season. And then all of a sudden he brought it in the playoffs, and brought it a little bit more in the regular season, and had a pretty solid second year. And again, when they were going through those injury troubles, he was playing 25 to 30 minutes a night on the left side when Sanderson and Chabot were down. So he's not going to be playing that tonight. He'll be on the third pair with both the top 2 guys on the left, ready to go. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be huge just to get him back, and we'll see how he looks with the pairing alongside Cam Crotty.
AJ Jakovic with us from TSN 1200 in Ottawa. I mean, it should benefit both teams. Having an extra day off is where I'm going with this, AJ. But does it help maybe Ottawa a little bit more because a guy like Jake Sanderson played over 40 minutes?
I said that, and I actually thought the biggest reason was it gave more time. Like, you knew they needed another body back. Like, I love Nick Mattampalo, but he can't be playing 30-plus minutes a night. He's been a warrior, but they've been spending more time in their own end than they'd like. And so I think more than anything, the days off, getting a guy like Cleven the extra day back in the lineup helped. But you're right. They had a number of guys like Sanderson and Shabbat were over 40 minutes, and Spence was real close, and Matt and Paolo was well over 30 as well. So just to give those four guys an extra day and to give an extra day for Cleven to come back, I think, yeah, normally you wouldn't want to stew on a double overtime loss like that for an extra day, but I think it really helped because they needed some of those bodies, A, back, and B, to get the extra day's rest.
What do you think of the Kachuk staged fight with Stahl to start the series off here?
Yeah, I don't know if it was necessary. I think it probably helped Carolina more than it helped Ottawa. But that being said, like Brady Kachuk's a guy that, and we saw this earlier this year. He had thumb surgery, so he had a bandage on his hand. He can't fight. And I don't think he played as well, just because I think he needs that part of his game to, and even if it's just the threat of that part of his game, and the fact that we've seen him fight a few times now. It happened a couple of games against the Islanders with Anders Lee home and away, and that game at home was kind of a signature Brady Tkachuk moment for this franchise.
Yeah.
The fact that they're playing a team that they needed to catch. He fought Anders Lee off the opening faceoff. He scored the game-winning goal in the waning seconds to give Ottawa a regulation win, and that's kind of the defining game for the Senators to get into the playoffs. And it was led by their captain Brady Tkachuk. So, do I want to see it every night? Do I want to see it tonight? Probably not. I mean, it would certainly get the building fired up, and if it gets Brady fired up, then great. But to me, like with a player like that, even though I don't think it's necessary, I don't think you want to put the reins on a player like that either. He's a bit of a unicorn around the league. There's not a lot of power forwards that have that kind of scoring ability, but are that big a threat physically, and that includes in on the body and also throwing down every once in a while as well. And it's pretty rare in today's NHL. He's a lot more like his dad than he is like his brother, who I don't have to tell Edmonton fans. Matthew likes to turtle a little bit.
That AJ, yeah.
Yeah, but Brady's not like that. Brady's, he's kind of a take on all comers type of player.
Yeah.
And I think Travis Green has talked about that because at times he's asked about, do you want Brady fighting? And it's like, I want Brady to be Brady. And if that means he needs to get in the odd scrap, then so be it. So you don't want to tame a guy like that. You want to kind of let him pick his spots. And I think he's picked his spots pretty well so far, but yeah, I mean, I do understand the flip side of that as well, because I think Carolina got more juice out of that game one fight than Ottawa did.
AJ Jakovic with us in Sports 1440. Hey, AJ, we're a month away from Red Blacks preseason game. You fired up or what? And plus the draft. What do they need for the draft? What do they need in the first round?
Oh, that's a great question. I think probably best player available. Boring answer. There's a lot of old linemen that are expected to be, like, talked about Ottawa. Like, there's 5 of the top 20 guys in that ranking are from Ottawa. 3 of the top 4, because you got Wesley Bailey and Rene Conga as well, that both are defensive linemen out of the University of Louisville. Ottawa, again, producing a ton of talent for the NFL and a ton of D linemen as well. Led by Akeem Mesidor, who's going first round tonight. But, Mesidor and Bailey and Conga, I'm not sure are going to be early plays for them, because I think, a lot depends on how the draft goes and if there's free agent money. I mean, that's the key. I mean, you could get a free agent tryout, but that's different than getting guaranteed free agent money. And I feel like Bailey and Conga are probably going to get that. So all those top Ottawa guys are probably going to be off the board for them, at least at 1, because they want somebody at 1 that's going to be signed, sealed, delivered, ready to go at camp. So could be O-line, could be a couple. I know they got their eyes on a couple of guys on the defensive side of the ball as well. But, if I was a betting man, I'd probably say offensive line, because that's probably their biggest area of need right now. Is, the right side of their O-line was problematic last year. They brought in a lot of players. They brought in some Americans. And, this Luigi Villain trade that they made earlier this week, another Ottawa native, like he was only coming back. He played 4 years. He went to Michigan, then Wake Forest, 4 years in the NFL. And he was only coming back to the CFL. Toronto had his rights if he was playing in Ottawa, because he's ready to start a family in Ottawa and kind of get on with his life. But that was kind of the deal. So they were able to get him from the Argos, and that gives them probably another Canadian starter on the defensive line, and that allows you maybe to add some American offensive linemen on the other side. So we'll see how it plays out. It gives them a lot more flexibility. But, given the depth of talented O-line this year in this draft and the need for Ottawa in that position when it comes to Canadians, that would probably be my best educated guess.
Well, AJ, thanks for this. What are you going to do if Hakeem Messiter doesn't go in the first round or even goes very late? How many chicken wings and free food are you going to be able to pump back, big fella?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm hoping. I don't know what the beyond the food, because obviously, we're media, and I'm lumping you into this as well. You're not getting off scot free.
No.
Yeah, 100%. There's no way you're getting away with this. So we're media. Yeah, we love a good free meal, but honestly, probably number one is what's the TV situation going to be in there? Are we going to have 5 TVs and 4 of them on the draft and 1 on the Sens? Are they all going to be on the draft? I guess we'll see. But I'm hoping to be able to kind of catch the Sens game somehow, along with the fact that I think he's going tonight. I'm not throwing bad vibes out there here going into his draft party and saying what happens if he's Brady Quinn or something like that.
Well, enjoy the draft. Enjoy watching, I bet, with one eyeball also on the Sens-Canes game tonight. And as always, thanks for coming on, AJ, and we'll see you when you get into town here with the Red Blacks.
Beauty. Sounds good. Take care, Kevin.
You betcha. That's AJ Jakovic, Edmontonian, now out in Ottawa for several years. Play-by-play guy with the Red Blacks and TSN 1200. And our game of the day brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where, again, the 2026 Jeep Compass 4x4s are going for under $37,000. Check them out at stalbertdodge.com. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show, talk a little baseball, Oilers, and maybe draft as well. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Everything is going to be okay. Any business, regardless of size, can stumble occasionally. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. If your business is facing financial challenges, our team of chartered insolvency and restructuring professionals have corporate debt recovery solutions that work. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. Chances of a positive outcome increase if you engage Faber sooner rather than later.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call-solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440.
Welcome back to Nissan Head to Head.
Today, we've got the Nissan Rogue Platinum showing up with an unbelievable estimated highway range of up to 800 kilometers per tank. Some of the other guys are stepping up now with yet another fuel stop. Some wins are really obvious.
Right now, finance a Nissan Rogue Platinum for 0% for 60 months. Visit Nissan.ca for details. Conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Tim's Smile Cookie is almost here. And with every bite, you'll help make a difference close to home because 100% is donated to over 600 local charities and community groups. Buy your Tim's Smile Cookies April 27th to May 3rd at participating restaurants in Canada for a limited time.
Canadian Tire's Big Spring Tire Sale is back. Save up to 25% on quality tire brands including Continental, Michelin, Motomaster, and Pirelli until May 21st. Conditions apply. Details online.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
Welcome back to the big program, 1043. Wish you could see the Duke in studio here. I've never seen him this happy. I don't think I've ever seen him this happy. Obviously, big Ducks fan. They win last night. I've never seen him this happy, ever. Josh Fenwick has even said
That's just not true.
Well, it's true. When have you been this happy?
I'm happy all the time.
Not this happy.
I'm a happy man.
Nah, not this happy.
Listen, it was a great night. I really enjoyed the hockey game.
And you're going to go on Tuesday?
Nah, maybe.
Well, you got to go now.
Yeah.
It'll be, it's a late start again, as usual.
Shocker.
8-something.
I wonder what the... Tell you, if I can get a ticket for as good of a seat for a similar price as I did last night, then I'll entertain.
Did you buy your buddy's ticket too?
I offered to. Like I bought, obviously I bought the tickets, but he paid me for it. I offered. I was like, "Hey Tom, it's happy to be my treat." He's like, "No," because when I texted him, I said, "You want to go to the game tonight?" He says, "Yeah, of course." What's going on? I was like, "Well, I'm thinking of getting tickets. I figure I should go see my team go. I've never been to an Oilers playoff game. My team's in town." I was like, "I got to do it." He's like, "What's the catch?" I'm like, "There's no catch."
How many beers did you guys have?
He had a few more than me. I drove us. Okay. I picked him up. It's kind of conveniently on my way. And then we went to, there's a brewery right by his place, kind of in the Westmountish area.
Mm-hmm.
Just off Grote. Went to a brewery there. Had a one for the road on the way down. I had a couple. It was fun.
I was wondering because I figured you went to the game, and then when I didn't get a lineup before I went to bed, I thought, a show lineup
out of control.
I thought, okay, I get it. I thought, you know what, I can get past that. You know, we've done it before where something happens and guests are doing this, guests are doing that, and then you get it in the morning. So then when I woke up and I looked at the emails and I said, "Oh, geez, because a couple times it's gone to junk and I missed it.
Right.
But I checked everything.
And you didn't want to be accused of that being not tech savvy. You're like, you text me, you said, I even checked the junk. No, it was the friendly confines of Rogers Place with 18,000 people in there.
Exactly.
I cannot believe how bad the cell service is inside that building.
Well, but I think it's a similar thing when you go to back in the day, the Eskimos game, right?
Yep. Just an overload of the.
Well, no, they would not overload. So only 911 calls would go in or out, right?
Right.
That's how it used. Is that how it is at Oilers?
Like it's just like there's just so many people in one condensed area that the signals are very.
Are you on a Rogers plan, Duke?
No, I'm with.
Well, there
Bell.
you go. There's probably
probably. Well, and so then I was like, we're in line for beer, Kev. When I'm trying to send you the lineup, so I finished booking the show on the way to the game, like when we were sitting at the brewery having a pint, a pregame pint, and I say to Tom, I was like, "Oh, this is great. Show's booked. I'm not having to even look at my phone over the course of the game." Then we're in line for the beer. I was like, I just got to send the lineup to Kevin Josh. And I thought in my mind I did because I clicked send, but it just sat there in outbox pending all night long. As it did and then this morning it carried over. I don't know what's going on. I tried to send the email or the video call link to all of our guests. And Ryan Payton texted me just before coming. He's like, "Hey, I don't have the link." I'm like, I sent it at 6:30 this morning. And it's sitting there in my outbox too. So I don't know what's going on with my phone or what, but
Rogers, Duke.
I guess they're trying to get me. And so when I'm in line for the beer and this guy overhears me, I say, "What is with the signal in here? It's terrible." And the guy's just like, "Yeah, it's only for Ducks fans." They cut on purpose. Guy in front of me in line, he turns out, he's like, you're wearing an Oilers jersey. He's like, I must be a Ducks fan too because my signal is bleep.
Wow.
It was good.
Blue Jays with the day off after losing the series finale in LA against the Angels. So they're back at it tomorrow. A couple of notes around Major League Baseball, just crazy. So the Mets get Juan Soto back in the lineup. They end a 12-game losing streak. He didn't do much, but maybe the little jolt. They did lose Francisco Lindor, your buddy, as well. In Chicago, the White Sox, Munetaka Murakami is taking the Windy City by storm. Homers in 5 consecutive games, all kinds of history there. O'Neal Cruz from the Pittsburgh Pirates hit a home run, Duke, yesterday, so far and so high. I don't even know how they measured it. What happened was it hit the top of the foul pole and then bounced forward. The top of the foul pole. Shohei Ohtani, he saw his on-base streak end at 53 games, but his ERA drops to .38. Insane. The Yankees just missed a 3rd straight shutout after an 8-inning gem by Max Fried. And there was one other thing that I saw, Duke. I can't remember what it was, but it had something to do with I'll have to think about it. But there was one other baseball note, and I was just kind of going through them all. But it was a big night in Major League Baseball. Oh, it's probably Jose Soriano. His ERA is at like .24 right now. And he pitched the first 5 innings against the Jays. Didn't allow anything, and then got yanked after 5. He'd actually thrown a few pitches. Jays singled him to death. And then he left, and then the Jays tied it, so he didn't get a W anyway. NFL draft tonight. Duke, I'm looking forward to now you thinking that this is a smokescreen for the 3rd overall pick and the Arizona Cardinals and Jeremiah Love, just to think that maybe they can get something out of Tennessee, you're thinking? Because if Tennessee takes him at 4, and that smokescreen goes towards Tennessee saying that Arizona we might want him at 3 here. You want to move up a spot?
Yeah.
Give us something, whatever.
Maybe they get an extra pick in the 2nd round or something, then they use to parcel to get back into the end of the 1st round to take Ty Simpson or something, right? There's a lot of unique ways this could flesh out. I'm looking forward to it.
So who else is in there besides, like, out of the big nuts, beside Mendoza?
Quarterback wise?
No, like not attending the draft.
Oh,
Like,
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't really.
I thought
keep up
there's
with
a
that stuff.
few
There
other ones.
was, yeah. There's quite a few guys. It seems to be becoming more and more common.
Mm-hmm.
And they always say it so they can be at home and watch it with their families and things like that, which certainly you can appreciate.
Right. I got 3 drafts up here quick, Duke, and I got the dude from The Athletic that works with Austin Mock.
Okay.
So he's got Mendoza. We're not even going to do Mendoza. Everyone's got so he's got then Reese, Love, Bailey, and Downs. Okay. The next guy that I have punched up is Field Yates from ESPN.
Right.
So obviously
Very respect.
So he's got Bailey, Love, Sonny Styles, then Arvel Reese.
Really?
To the Giants. Mel Kiper. Some people like him. Some people don't like him. I don't know where you are.
Todd.
He's got Bailey, Reese, Love, and Downs. And then Styles at 6, but he's got a trade.
That was Kuiper. Who is this first guy? First pass rusher? Bailey, then Reese.
Bailey, then Reese, then Love, and then Downs. And then at 6, he's got the Cowboys moving up with a trade with Cleveland and taking Sonny Styles.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. That top 5 would be my prediction.
Yeah.
And we're going to do, I mentioned earlier, we're going to do our final mock draft here coming up in the middle segment of Fantasy Frenzy today. Declan, Connor, and myself. Maybe we'll get Josh in the mix.
No, he said no.
Now that the Bengals,
out.
Now that the Bengals, no Declan? Wow. So last week we were supposed to have him, and then he no-showed us.
So
very Declan
it's
fashion.
the biggest day going, and he's got what I don't understand here.
He's got some sort of appointment. I don't know, doctor's appointment, and that he just made today. Declan, he's a bit of an enigma. I'm going to keep it a buck. He's an interesting cat.
We got golfing with the G-Man tomorrow and coming in studio. We hope it's in studio, but because of the Oilers and golf kind of at the same time, and locally golf stinks right now. We know that, but we're going to talk golf and hockey kind of, at the same time. So we got Ross Perkins, former Edmonton Oil King and Oiler from the WHA days, been in a million tournaments. He's a member at the Broadmoor. Great guy, loves golf. Follows golf, but obviously, big hockey guy. I saw him at the game with his wife last night, enjoying things. So Perky's going to join us. Gary Meyer is going to see if he wants to jump in because he lives out near the park with Gary. So they might jump in together and maybe he'll join us in studio, if not by phone. So that's golfing with the G-Man tomorrow. I should mention the Zurich Classic of New Orleans is underway. And I don't know if this is a par 3 course or whatever. But Sam Stevens, Zach Pachow, Davis Thompson, Austin Eckroat, all at 11 under par already. Ben Martin and Trace Crow at 10 under as well. It's an easier course, I would imagine. Guys are at 11 under playing 14, so scores are lower than a gravedigger's shoes here. Well, it was a wild show, Duke. Text line was pretty fast, man. Hey, it was coming along.
It crashed. The text line crashed. It was so busy the first hour of the show.
Yeah.
We didn't know what to do, Kevin.
Yeah. Montana Race says golfing with the G-Man. It's 10 centimeters of snow tomorrow. Is that what we're getting tomorrow, Duke? 10 centimeters?
I don't care.
60%.
I'm not even going to look because I refuse.
Is it snowing right now
it.
out there? I wonder if it is because Josh says no, but it's just not good till, I don't know, Tuesday. Maybe.
Oh, good.
That's Environment Canada, Duke.
Trust the source.
Yes, Environment Canada. Coming up at the top of the hour, it is Fantasy Frenzy with
the former Ross Shep T-Bird,
Connor Halley, and the Duke of Delburne at 12 o'clock. It's the Lowdown with Ellen Mitchell. 2 till 6. Jason Greger drives us home with the Jason Greger Show. We got Fox Sports all night long until we're back with you tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock to wrap up the work week with Eddie Steele, the real deal, all-century team in U Sports history. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding, awswelding.ca. Hey, thanks everyone for listening this morning. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all the great texts and all the great interaction. There are no more passionate fans than Edmonton Oiler fans, and everyone had their say this morning. Keep in mind, again, she's just 1-1 right now. It's the best of 5, and the Oilers got to initiate play. They got to dictate play. Don't react. Be the one that forces the issue. Again, thanks for everybody being a part of the show today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. We're back tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Until then, here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Three-game slate across the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. Series shifting to Boston between the Bruins and Sabres, tied at 1 apiece. Puck drop coming there just after 5 o'clock. From our nation's capital, Senators down in an 0-2 hold of the Hurricanes. That one getting underway just after 5:30. And the nightcap, Avalanche up 2-0 in their series. Head to SoCal to take on the Kings in game number 3. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock. IIHF U18 World Championships. Canada winners this morning 6-0 over Latvia. That brings their record to 1-1 in the field. Elsewhere, Czechs beat Sweden 2-1. And Slovakia and Norway currently underway in Group A play. Association playoffs tonight. Raptors back at it against Cleveland, trailing 2-0 in the series. Tip-off 6 o'clock from the Scotiabank Arena. Elsewhere, Hawks and Knicks knotted at 1 game apiece. We'll go at it from Georgia. Tip-off at 5. And at 7:30, Minnesota hosting Denver. In game 3 of that series, it's tied at 1. Lighter day in the majors. Several teams in transit, but a couple games set to get underway shortly with Atlanta in Washington, Detroit hosting Milwaukee, and still to come, Cubbies hosting Philly, Padres in Colorado, Giants up against the Dodgers, Yankees are in Boston, Mets host the Twins, and Texas up against Pittsburgh in the evening's finale. Finally, NFL Draft round number 1 will get underway from Pittsburgh later on tonight. Las Vegas Raiders holding the first overall pick, expected to select Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza. Following in order there, rest of the top 5, Jets, Cardinals, Titans, and the New York Football Giants. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Brendan Douglas at your sports.